Hey everyone, happy Monday. Hope you guys all had a good weekend. Today I'll be doing another tier list. So I talked about it a bit last week, but I went ahead and decided to do it. So today I'll be doing a tier list for all of the heroes in Twist. And I thought about it a lot, you know, how I should kind of judge the decks and judge the heroes. Because on one hand, I thought about doing a tier list based on balance, right? You know, what are the strongest decks? But the problem is that Blizzard is supposedly going to be doing, you know, like active balance changes, right? Twice already, they've adjusted health values for heroes with, you know, either adjusting them higher or lower based on their win rates. And apparently, without an actual patch, that's all they can really do. You know, they can hot fix health values, but they can't make any kind of like deck changes or, you know, passive changes or hero power changes. But still, I think the fact that they've adjusted health values twice already bodes well for the future of the format. And we'll have to see this week. I think hopefully there's a patch this week and they actually make some changes, because some of the decks are really lacking. You know, some of the decks could use some adjustments. And that's why I don't really want to rate them on balance, because I think if I rate them all based on how good the decks are, that could literally change tomorrow. Or it could change next week, and it could change again in a couple weeks, right? So I feel like it's just going to be in constant flux. Hopefully, hopefully if Blizzard actually follows through and does what they've said they're going to do, hopefully they actively balance Twist. And if they do, then yeah, I think this tier list could be out of date within a week or something. So I think instead, I'm going to rate them just based on how fun and interesting the decks are. So that's the idea. But how's everyone doing? Hey, Zach. Hey, Sverna. How you both doing today? And hey, Bear. They did change Cthulhu and Kael'thas. I don't think they made any... I could be wrong. Unless something happened today that I missed. I'm pretty sure they've only done changes twice now. And the only changes they've done are to health values. So I think these pictures might be a little... Oh yeah, these pictures are out of date. Cthulhu is listed as 35 health here. I think Cthulhu is up to 50 or 60 now. And then Arthas, I think, was brought... I think Arthas was brought down to 25 and is now 20, I think. Something like that. But like I said, you know, they are, at least so far, they are actively tweaking the format, which is good. Because, you know... Blizzard has a history of disappointing, unfortunately. And they said they were going to make changes to the format. Oh, Cthulhu's 80 now. Holy shit. So I think it went 35 to 50 or to 60, and now it's 80. But damn, that's crazy. Sphero, I see that on the screen. The health stats are in their initial state. Yeah, so it doesn't... I guess... that aspect isn't very important, because like I said, I'm not going to be rating them based on balance or strengths. I'm going to be rating them just based on how fun they are to play and how interesting they are, because I think, you know, that is a lot more likely to stand the test of time. Like I said, let's say like Arthas, right? Let's say I'm like, okay, Arthas is S tier. There could be a patch this week or next week that just puts Arthas into like dumpster tier. So I don't really want to make a tier list that'll just be invalid in a week or two, or like I said, it might be constantly in flux depending on the balance changes. So instead, I'll rate them based on, yeah, how interesting, fun, and unique they are. Zek, unpopular opinion. I don't think Arthas is as good as Community Outrage says he is. I don't know. Funny enough, when I played Twist last week, I only ran into Arthas once, which really surprised me because everyone's bitching about Arthas online, and I figured it would be like every other deck, which, funny enough, Cthulhu was what I ran into every other game. I think half of my games over the entire stream were against Cthulhu, which is funny because everyone complains Cthulhu sucks, but everyone's playing it, and everyone complains Arthas is amazing and no one's playing it. At least from like my sample size, so I don't know. It's because no one wants to buy him to play him for a week. Oh, that's true. Actually, I didn't consider that because, funny enough, I don't have Arthas. You know, I've been like, obviously it comes down to luck, right? You know, you could open 2 packs or 200 packs and never open Arthas, but I've been playing for 10 years. I open 100 plus packs every expansion. I don't have Arthas, so I'm not going to craft them for this. Yeah, Dave, as you said, a lot of people have Cthulhu already. Actually, Cthulhu is a freebie, I believe. Is it not? Like, I guess I'll show you guys here. There's actually 4 heroes I don't have. So when we get to those ones, you guys will have to help me out a bit here. I don't have Patches. I disenchanted Patches the last time he was nerfed, and I just never made him again. Zul'jin, I guess I just never owned. Same with Guff. And then, yeah, Arthas, I don't have. So those 4 I don't have. So you guys will have to help me out a bit rating those 4. Sferna, did you play Crush? I believe I played King Crush. Or no, I didn't. Sorry. Chat talked me out of it. Also, this UI is just terrible. You got this stuff clipping over here. I stopped hovering over the hero power, and it's still there. You can see a second one pops up. Whoever did the QA on this UI, man, you need a timeout. My favorite is Illidan, but I don't think he has your type of play style. Yeah, what's Illidan again? I can't even see. Small indie company, man. All right, let's try this again. Oh, yes, game 1 attack and lifesteal. Oh, yeah, it was discounted to fell spells. Man, I think I only played against Illidan once when I played Twist, and it seemed like a cool deck, actually. It did very, very well. Zek, Patches is one of my favorites when it comes to flavor. Patches was Pirates, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, this is like the Battlegrounds hero power. It's cool, don't get me wrong, but it literally reads like a Battlegrounds hero power. It's fair enough. So maybe should you better try the heroes you haven't tried before making the tier list? Nah, I thought about it. So the original plan was whatever heroes I didn't play. There's only a couple. I played most of them. I think the only ones I didn't play were Illidan, Leroy, Crush, and Finley. Yeah, I believe those are the only ones I didn't play. And most of them are just basic kind of decks, right? Finley's just Murlocs. Jenkins is just aggro. Like, I don't know, those ones weren't as much my vibe. But my original plan was I wanted to play them over the weekend to have some experience with all of them. But I ended up being super, super busy this weekend. I didn't have the chance. So that's where you guys come in. So like I said, any heroes that I don't have, so these 4, or any that I haven't played, you guys can help me rate. Because like I said, we're not really going to rate them on balance here or how strong they are. We're just going to rate them on how interesting they are and how fun they are to play. Because that's something I don't see changing, right? Like the hero powers and the passive and the idea of the deck, sure, they might be tweaked a little bit, but the core, like the heart of the deck is going to remain. So, you know, whatever this deck is trying to do, that's never going to change. So I think we're going to rate them based on that. Hey, Julio. How's it going? Read Patches passive. After you summon a pirate, deals 1 damage to a random enemy. That reminds me of that one spell. What was it? Like 6 mana, where it's like deal 3 damage for each pirate you have. I think it's a rogue spell. It's fair enough. I mean, those that you own, not to spend your dust. Yeah. So, like I said, I was planning on playing Crush, Finley, Illidan and Leroy over the weekend. But like I said, some stuff came up and I was super busy. And I haven't played Hearthstone since my last stream on Thursday, actually. So I unfortunately didn't have the time. Hey, Steve. Jenkins can be fun, but most of the time you don't draw the required cards. Yeah, during my last stream when I played Twist, we were talking about all the different heroes, and some people said that Leroy is very much like a glass cannon. All right, switch things. Yep. So like I said, today I'll be doing a tier list for all of the heroes currently in the Twist season. And just so it's clear, I will be rating them based on how fun and interesting they are, not on how strong they are. Because, like I said, Blizzard is supposedly going to be making balance changes constantly to Twist. So if I rate this based on balance and how strong the decks are, it's going to change at some point, whether it be next week or the week after. Actually, that reminds me. Here's the timeline I'm envisioning. I originally thought they were going to announce the new expansion this week, tomorrow, but considering they haven't posted any kind of like teaser or anything, I don't think it's going to happen. Usually the Monday they'll post some kind of teaser on their social media, and unless I missed it, they haven't posted anything. So I don't think it'll be this week, unfortunately, but I think next week then, probably Monday they'll post a teaser. Tuesday they'll announce the expansion, and then there'll also be a patch on Tuesday, because usually when they announce the new expansions, they announce like the freebie card that everyone gets, right? So there'll be a patch on Tuesday that has the freebie card, probably some balance changes for Twist, I hope, and probably some other goodies too. But what do you guys think? Am I crazy? Because apparently the Tavern Pass, let me look, the Tavern Pass runs out late July, I think, if you go to the Blizzard store. Let me take a look. It usually gives you an indication of when the new expansion's coming out. Where is Hearthstone in the Blizzard store? Oh, it's still under Warcraft, even though they took Warcraft out of the subtitle. Let me see. Oh, yeah. So, I can't really show it easily, but yeah, so the Tavern Pass for Whizbang's Workshop is available until July 23rd. So, what day of the week is that? July 23rd. Oh, it's a Tuesday. Yeah, so that's when the new expansion comes out then. So how many weeks are we away? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. A little more than I thought. So I guess, okay, so next week makes sense then, because next week will be a month and a half to the expansion. So like I said, I'm placing my bets. Next Monday, they'll release a teaser for the expansion, and Tuesday, they'll announce the expansion. Along with whatever like the freebie is and probably some other goodies and stuff. Sverna might do it right now. I could, but I want to play some games afterwards. I'm actually, so after the tier list, I'll be playing Wild, and I'm going to try out Tendrils. I've talked about it a few times, but I loved Tendrils when they were in Standard before they got butchered. And people have suggested trying them in Wild, and so we'll give it a shot. I'll probably play a Shaman deck. Maybe some other class can make them work too. Maybe like Rito Warrior with Tendrils in Wild. We'll have to see. Do you think Paladin's weapon will be changed in the next patch? So for the first time in a while, I actually feel like Standard's in a pretty good spot right now. I don't know. What do you guys think are like the current outliers in Standard? Like if it was up to you, to balance Standard right now, what classes or what cards would you change? Because I think it's in a decent spot. Granted, I haven't played since Thursday, so maybe the meta has turned to shit over the weekend. I don't know. But last I played in like last week, it was in a pretty decent spot, I thought. Bear, they still need like 4 weeks to show all the cards, plus the pause between trailer and first card. Yeah, exactly, Bear. And that's always the annoying part when they announce a new expansion, and they usually show a couple cards, right? But then it's like radio silence for like 2 weeks after that. It's like announcing new expansion, and it's like, okay, card reveals will start in 2 weeks. And it's like those 2 weeks are just awful. Although, I don't know if anyone else saw this. There was a leak on Hearthstone, the Hearthstone subreddit yesterday. It was what was it? I think it was like an app store in some other country. They posted information for the new expansion early. So if you don't want spoilers, maybe mute this for the next couple of minutes or close the stream. But like I said, it was some app store, and this happens all the time. But they updated the description of the game to include new information about the expansion. And if it's true, it basically said that for the few weeks leading up to the new expansion, that Gen and Baku are to come back to standard, which could be very interesting. Which isn't unheard of, right? You know, there's been times in the past, say right before what was the Death Knight expansion? I keep wanting to say Knights of the Frozen Throne, but that was the original one. Let me take a look. Something Frozen. What was it? Oh, March of the Lich King. Okay. So yeah, right before March of the Lich King launched, they actually brought the Death Knight hero cards back into standard for a time. So there is a precedent of them doing that, right? Bringing back cards into standard for a little bit before an expansion releases. So it might not be true, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but there was a post on the subreddit that Gen and Baku, that's going to happen. Where Gen and Baku are going to come back into standard for a month prior to the new expansion. So what do you guys think about that? And hey, Cartman, how's it going? Bear's not happy about Gen and Baku coming back. Sverna in a good spot. 3 to 5 best decks are Paladins, Flood, Hand, and Reno. That is true. Paladin's always strong. Always comes back. Zach, I think Lich King is the worst for fun. Only one without a special ability, and the passive isn't very interesting either. But yeah, I know that the teaser image for the next expansion kind of showed like a beach. I don't know. And I'm very curious if they're going to continue the like throwback mechanics. You know, Whizbang's Workshop had a bunch of throwback mechanics to previous expansions for, you know, the 10-year anniversary. I'm really curious if they're going to continue that going forward with the rest of the expansions this year. I hope so, because it was cool. I really liked it a lot in Whizbangs. All right, well, I guess we can get started with this, though. So, once again, I will be rating these based on how interesting and fun they are to play, not necessarily how good they are. And some of these I don't have access to, so I'll be relying on you guys to kind of chip in, and we can work on this together. Sverna, after this change, there will be new best deck, Odd Reno Paladin. Actually, okay, so I was wrong. I said how I thought the meta was in a good spot and I couldn't really see there being any changes. I could see Reno getting changed again, you know, as a little teaser, I guess. On Thursday, I'm releasing a new video on my YouTube, which is another top 5 video. Basically, the first 2 top 5 videos I did were, you know, more like negative. You know, it was the top 5 worst cards of all time. Then it was the top 5 worst removal cards. So this time I wanted to do like something good. So this week I'll be coming out with the top 5 best hero cards. And spoiler, I'm sure to no one's surprise, Reno is number 1. Reno is just one of the strongest cards in the game. Like, Reno is one of the strongest cards ever printed, 100%. One of the strongest board clears, if not the strongest board clear ever printed. So I know Reno was nerfed once already, but I could see it being nerfed further. You know, it's crazy that there's some classes without Highlander payoffs that are playing Reno decks just for Reno. Like, that shows you how strong it is, right? So I would be very surprised if Reno didn't go until rotation without being nerfed again. And I don't know if it's as simple as just like a mana increase, increasing it to 10. Because even at 10, it'll still be played. Yep, bye Luna. You're getting banned. No follow for follow here. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so even if they increased Reno to 10 mana, it would still be played. It would still be an amazing card. So I don't know if they need to tweak the battle cry. I know I've seen a bunch of suggestions on Reddit, and I've thought about making a video, kind of like I did with my brand video, where some people have suggested where if you play Reno, it limits your board space to 1 as well. which I could see, right? It's supposed to be like a duel. Why wouldn't it be like one-on-one, right? So either switching it to be a symmetrical board wipe, or limiting your space to one, or changing the board wipe so it actually like triggers death rattles and things like that. I think something has to change. It's just so unbelievably strong. And it's like frustratingly strong. You know, Reno's one of those cards where it can win the game by itself. So yeah, we'll see. I can see Reno getting some other nerf though before the year's up. But you guys are right. If Gen and Baku do come back to standard, Paladin might just go crazy. If it wasn't already, right? Zek can't wait till Reno rotates. He's my #1 annoyance. Yeah, I have to say, though, as much as, you know, it might be annoying, I think it is cool that Paladin has multiple, you know, viable decks, right? It is nice that if you really like a class, having like multiple options, like multiple ways to play it. So good on them for that, at least. That Paladin has multiple archetypes that are viable right now. And they're not all necessarily just like hyper aggro, right? Like obviously Flood Paladin is very aggro, but Hand Buff Paladin is a bit slower. You know, it's kind of more like a mid-range deck. And then Reno Paladin is even slower. So yeah, it's kind of cool. They have multiple options there. They're all like different archetypes. Steve, hopefully they adjust Gen so Demon Hunter can use it. Does Gen not affect Demon Hunter? Oh yeah, because it makes your hero power cost 1. What would they do? Just make it so it makes Demon Hunters cost 0? I don't know. Sverna, I don't think Reno is the problem. The problem is the general power creep. There are a lot of kind of weak Reno decks. The problem is only only Warrior and Paladin. I do agree that overall power creep is a problem, and I really liked that patch they had like a month and a half ago, where they nerfed a shit ton of cards. I think they need to do more of that. I think they need to bring down the power level of the game. Especially, we have 2 more sets for the standard rotation, right? So yeah, if the power level is already this high with 4 sets in standard, if they don't do something drastic, it's going to be crazy as the year goes on. Like, the decks will only get better and faster, right? Bear, the only time Paladin has a good meta deck, I think it was Libram. Libram Paladin was cool. I thought that was a cool mechanic. So that reminds me, actually, a future tier list I want to do is for like mechanics in the game. So, you know, Spellstones, Librams, Jades, you know, like stuff like that. That'll be a fun one. All right, well, I think we'll get started then. So I'm just going to go in alphabetical order. So first one we have is Alakir, which, ignore the health value. This is out of date, but Alakir's hero power is 1 mana, gives a minion Divine Shield and Taunt, and its passive is Elemental Evocation. After you play a legendary elemental, call upon the power of an element. And I don't know if it lists it here. Nope. The options, it's the, was it the Kalamos options? So it's like deal 6 damage to the opponent, summon 2/2/3 taunts, deal 2 or 3 damage to the enemy's board, and restore health to yourself. I forget how much. So I have to say, when I first read his powers and his decks, it seemed kind of boring. I don't know why. I think it is maybe because it seemed like this wasn't going to trigger a lot, because there's only 10 legendary elementals in the deck, I believe. But when I played it, it was pretty fun. It was fun triggering this effect because it's so versatile, right? You could use it to, you know, push face damage, or you could heal or summon the taunts. What about you guys? Like, I don't think this was like the most fun deck I played, but it was definitely, it wasn't bad, I didn't think. And once again, we're not rating these based on how good the deck is. We're rating them based on how interesting the deck and the playstyle is. Or how like unique it is. So what am I thinking? I feel like just B off the top of my head. It wasn't like amazing, but it wasn't bad. I feel like it kind of sets a good baseline. Like I said, this seemed very bad just reading it, but actually in practice, it worked out pretty good and it was pretty fun. The hero power is obviously very, very strong for 1 mana. Zek, I like the elementals. Feels powerful to summon them each time. Bear, I think he's average. You kind of just play elemental shaman with a few extra things. I will say there's definitely room for improvement in the deck, which it goes for most of the decks. You know, that is a problem. I don't think the problem with Twist is that some of the heroes are too strong. I think the problem is that too many of them are too weak. And a lot of it boils down to the fact that most of the decks are Highlander decks. I think all but 2 of the decks. So there's 19 currently, right? And I'm pretty sure 17 of them are Highlander decks. And in those decks, there's just so many random shitty cards. And I don't know. I don't understand the thought process there. You would think, I understand there being Highlander decks, but I feel like it should be more like 50-50. It shouldn't just be every deck is Highlander and they have shitty cards in them just to make them a bit less powerful. Like, there's some very strong elementals that aren't in this deck. You know, elementals that say if you played an elemental last turn, do X. There's like the cow one. I think it's 4 or 5 mana. You summon 2 3/3s with Rush. That's a perfect example. Like, why is that card not in this deck? So that's why I'm hoping when they actually do make changes to the decks and the classes, not just health changes, I hope they buff up the decks a bit. You know, we'll get into it a bit later on. But for instance, the Lich King is a corpse deck, but it doesn't have the Necrotic Explosion. But for whatever reason, Arthas does. So I think that should be moved from Arthas over to the Lich King. Like little things like that. I think some of these decks just have really random shitty cards just for the sake of making them less consistent. But anyways, kind of going off on a tangent there. But I think Alakir is just a B. I think it's just average. You know, it wasn't, you know, bad in the sense that, like, it was fun to play. It wasn't the most fun. It wasn't boring or unfun to play. It was just kind of average, right in the middle. So yeah, I think we'll start that off with like a baseline. And then next up, come on, Wiki. Don't fail me now. Actually, this reminds me. So when I was looking into all the information for the different heroes to have for the stream, you know, the first thing I checked was the Hearthstone website, right? Like the official resources. And I found an article that talked about the Twist season, right? Basically saying how it would work. And there was a button here that said, click here to see a list of what each hero's health, hero power, passive effect, and deck list will look like it for the Twist season. I was like, perfect. You know, this is exactly what I want for the tier list, right? All of that information just in one place. And do you want to see what it looks like? It's just some shitty PDF that someone threw together. Like, I thought it would be a cool done up like infographic with all of the heroes and their effects and stuff like that. And it's literally just a shitty PDF that was like thrown together in Word. So that caught me off guard. How are you going to link to this in the official article? It just looks so lazy. But let's try this again. I don't know what's going on with the wiki. Why is it just Rafam? Arthas is fine. Oh no, wiki, don't do this to me. Why? Is this happening to anyone else? Imic, I have all the deck images on my Twitter since the mini set patch, I think. Yeah, I think this is why people made like custom images to display all this information, because the official Blizzard one is just awful. All right, well, I guess we just got to work through it. The next deck is Archvillain Rafam, though, and as you can see, the wiki is not agreeing with me right now, but basically his deck is full of legendaries. So it's a full legendary deck. The passive says your legendary cards cost 1 less, and his hero power is 1 mana to discover a spell from your opponent's class that costs 3 or less. And I remember it being fun. Emmett, can I share a link? Yeah, go ahead. Sverna, I thought you enjoyed Alakir more. Yeah, maybe Alakir will get bumped up as we go. Because I definitely had fun with it, don't get me wrong. It was better than I expected it to be. But I think just to start off as kind of like a baseline, I'll put it in B, and we'll reevaluate as things go. Zach, Blizzard fired everyone, remember? No more balancing. We're going off the rails on a crazy train now. See, that's what I'm surprised they didn't just do with duels. Like, why didn't they just leave duels in the game, but then just stop balancing it? And if it goes to shit, who cares? You know, just leave it in the game at least. I don't understand the logic of removing it. Blizzard certainly doesn't have time for graphics. That's true. It just blew my mind. It blew my mind that I clicked a link from the official Hearthstone website, and it brought me to a shitty PDF that looked like a copy-paste Word document. I don't know. It was just weird. All right, Emic, let me copy this. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. If anyone else goes to the Hearthstone wiki, is it all messed up for you too? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Okay, same thing happens when I open the wiki. Okay, so it's not me. So the wiki just decided to shit itself when I needed it. That's all. Reform is fun just because it's all legendaries. Each one has a really cool ability. How can that not be fun? Yeah, I agree. I think, you know, like, just having a full deck of legendaries, like, that's cool, right? Like, that's like every player's dream, right? To just be able to craft a full legendary deck. And in that sense, it's very fun. And the hero power is nice because it balances it out, right? Because the whole deck, outside of a couple things, is minions. So the hero power offsets that and lets you discover some spells. So, yeah. I think in terms of like a power fantasy, I think it was an A. Having a full legendary deck. Yeah, that's like everyone's dream, right? To have all the legendaries and just play a full legendary deck. So I think in that sense, it was fun. I'm sure there were some legendaries in here that weren't great and can be removed. Like Blood Mage Thalanos is very pointless. It's probably just there for the card draw. But there's actually a lot of stuff in here that's not bad. Snip Snap I remove. Yeah, I feel like Moonfang is very, very random. Considering how shitty some of the decks are, I feel like this deck could have been a lot worse. Like, this deck's not terrible. Some of these maybe haven't aged very well, like having Dr. Boom and Sylvanas in there. Yeah, I had fun with it. And like I said, in terms of like how fun and unique and like the power fantasy of it is, I think it fits as an A. Imic, I reported that bug to the guys that maintain the guide. It's bugged for me as well. All right. Who knows? Maybe it'll be fixed by the time we're done. Bear thinks it's a D. There's nothing really more to it other than legendaries. It is true, but I think, to me, you know, how many people have the collection to like play a full legendary deck, right? I think that's a pretty unique situation. And it's just fun, right? Getting a bunch of like expensive toys to play with. Like, sure, it might not be very unique, but like I said, in terms of like power fantasy and fun, I think it was up there. But we might adjust as we get more things added. I've not tried the new twist. Is it worth it? Yeah, I thought it was fun. So I went into this twist season with a very negative mindset. I thought it was just going to be like duels reskinned. But no, it was fun. Obviously, it kind of sucks that a lot of these heroes, you need the card in your collection to play them. And a lot of these cards aren't worth crafting just to play them in twists. So that aspect sucks. But no, I thought it was fun. I thought most of the decks were pretty interesting. Like I said earlier, a lot of the decks definitely need some buffs. There's a lot of shitty cards in some of these decks. But the overall, you know, like passives and hero powers and stuff like that, I think it was a cool idea. Zek, it's a dang shame because the creativity in these recent sets is great, but the game seems to be barely scraping by. Yeah, so I've talked about it a little bit, but I'm going to release a video at some point talking about how Hearthstone is going to be coming to Steam soon. You know, Blizzard is in the process of migrating their games over. They've already added Diablo and Overwatch, at least those two. And there's been a bunch of leaks indicating that Hearthstone's coming soon too. You know, there was recently a trailer Hearthstone released that the initial version they posted to YouTube had the Steam symbol at the end, but then they took it down and they re-uploaded a version without it. So obviously it's coming to Steam, right? And one nice thing about Steam is you can see how many people are playing games. So, because Blizzard doesn't publish that information, right? So when Hearthstone comes to Steam, I'll be very interested to see what the player count's like, because obviously not everyone's going to switch to Steam, right? Whatever number is listed there in Steam, that's not going to be all of the people playing Hearthstone, but it'll still give you a bit of an idea, right? It gives you at least like a baseline to kind of see, you know, if there's like no one playing it and it's like not even the top 100, yeah, Hearthstone's probably not doing that well, right? But if it's hitting like 4 or 5 figures on Steam, I think it's probably doing better than we think. Hey Blaze, how's it going? Also Imic, I don't think it's coming to Steam. They said they canceled it or something for now. I'll have to take a look into it, what the latest information is. But like I said, I expect it. I'm pretty sure they said it's eventually all of their games are going to come to Steam. And like I said, they already did it with Diablo and Overwatch. And I know there's also, let me see here. Like there's already images and stuff in the game that are referencing. I don't know if I can find it. I know there was some articles I saw where there's images in the game already for the act of like linking your Steam profile to the game. Like there's a box and there's buttons and there's dialogue in the game for the act of going through to link your Steam account to it. So I think it'll happen. I think it's just a matter of when. And hey Ghost, how you guys doing? Oh, hey, you're an admin in the wiki. If there's something bugged, it might just be a temporary server issue, so it doesn't last more than a few minutes. Yeah, that was my guess. I use the wiki quite a bit for, you know, researching videos and thumbnails and all kinds of stuff, and I've actually never had this happen. So I assumed it was just some kind of server hiccup. Oh, you fixed it. There you go. It was that easy. Let me refresh a couple more of these. Brand looks good. Yep. You fixed it, Ghost. Thanks, man. And Steve, once again, Steam wins by doing nothing. Yeah, I was actually talking to a friend about this recently, about how, you know, so many companies over the last couple of years have tried to start up their own store. You know, the biggest one being like the Epic Games Store. And so many of them are just falling flat. And it's so funny because Steam isn't even doing anything. Like Steam is literally just sitting there and just relaxing while all these other companies release their own stores and they just shit themselves and people just go to Steam anyways. So I think it's so funny that, you know, Steam just by being Steam and by being big, it just keeps getting bigger. And also no one's released something better, right? A lot of these stores, you know, people are very stubborn. People want all of their games in one place. They don't want to have a bunch of different launchers and stuff, which I understand. To an extent, I'm the same way. You know, I have a couple. It's unavoidable for some games, but people are very stubborn. So if you release your own launcher or your own store and it's not at least decent, then it's going to go nowhere, right? And that's why, yeah, people are very, what's the word? It's like very hard-headed, I guess, with the launchers, and just not even, people aren't even willing to like give them a shot. So yeah, like I said, Steam just gets bigger without even trying because everyone else sucks. What else we got here? Zach, new twist is worth it for fun, but rewards track is still same as standard / wild. I'm on the same page as you, Paul, about Reform. Reform is core though. Oh, so that gives Reform a bit of like a bonus point. And dang, Blizzard needs to hire the wiki admins. Yeah. It is crazy to think how successful Hearthstone could be. Because it's, I don't know. Like I said, if or when it comes to Steam, it'll give you a bit of an idea of how many people are playing the game. But I think it's still decently successful. I think it still rakes in a lot of money. And where that money goes, I don't know. Who knows? But anyways, next up, we have the next hero is very hit or miss for a lot of people. It is Arthas, which love him or hate him. He is a Death Knight hero, essentially, and his hero power is 1 mana, and you spend up to 3 corpses, and for each you reduce the cost of a card in your hand by 1. And the passive basically says that after you play a certain ruined card, you excavate, and then it swaps every time. So, you know, you play a Frost Rune card and you excavate, and then it moves to Blood, Unholy, and refreshes. So you're playing the different runes, you're excavating, and then you're spending corpses to reduce the cost of cards in your hand. The biggest problem with this deck, at least in terms of balance, is that it's very easy to cycle through these. You know, you're getting legendary treasures very, very quickly. Most of the legendary treasures are great, you know. To my knowledge, I don't know if this was fixed or not, but I know at least at first, Arthas couldn't get the Shaman or Paladin legendary treasure, which is a good thing because the Shaman one sucks. So it was just making the pool of legendary treasures better, right? Does anyone know if it's not fixed yet? Oh, okay. So if they fix that with Arthas, that'll definitely take it down a peg with balance, I think. Because Arthas, you're not going to play the Shaman Legendary because it screws over your whole deck, right? The whole point is playing Death Knight cards to excavate. If you play the Shaman Legendary, all your ruined cards are gone. So, yeah, that will hurt the deck because it's basically a wasted card in your hand and it's a wasted, you know, excavate. Hopefully they fix that this week or whenever they do the other balance changes. I'm very torn on this one, though. Because on one hand, I love Excavate. I think Excavate is one of the best keywords and mechanics they've added in a long time. But on the other hand, I feel like this deck just does nothing new. And yeah, you could say the same about Reform. But like I said, it has the whole, you know, like power trip aspect, right? That most people can't just build a full deck of legendaries and play the game. But everyone can just play an Excavate deck, right? Like, this deck isn't really doing anything different or unique. I feel like it's a C in that regard. Like, Alakir has a bit of a unique effect. Reform has a very unique deck. Arthas is just a Rainbow Death Knight deck with Excavate, pretty much. And I'm trying not to be too harsh on it because a lot of people hate the deck because it is very, very strong. But once again, we're not rating the decks on strength here. We're rating them based on how interesting, fun, and unique they are. Steve, it's a question of conveniency, and Steam simply does it best. Simple to use, clean to use, and very user-friendly. Family sharing got even better in the last year, literally for free. Oh, I agree. Like, I never meant to imply that Steam wasn't a good product. It's definitely a good product. It's just no one can release anything better. That's the problem, is people keep trying to release competitors. It's kind of like World of Warcraft, right? Everyone wanted to be the next World of Warcraft, but every MMO that came out was shit. And so World of Warcraft just stayed popular because the competition sucked. And that's literally Steam, is that it stays popular because the competition sucks. Zek, not super fun naturally, but kind of fun to get the excavates maximized correctly. you like more challenging decks, it's fun. I guess, yeah, the aspect of rotating through the runes, that's like the only unique aspect of this deck, I feel like, is that it affects how you play and like the order you play your cards. Bear, I think it's supposed to be the throwback to that one hero from Duels that had that hero power. Also, Immic, next patch is either tomorrow or next week, and it's the expansion pre-order, possibly with some balance changes. Yeah, so I talked about this earlier in the stream, but I still think there could be a patch tomorrow, but I think the expansion announcement will be next week. Just simply because usually on like the Monday, Blizzard will post some kind of teaser to their social media, and to my knowledge, they didn't today. So I could be wrong. You know, they could announce it tomorrow, but I feel like based on previous expansions, usually they'll tease something on Monday and then announce it on Tuesday. And also next Tuesday is exactly a month and a half to the expansion release. So I can see them announcing the expansion next week, basically taking 2 weeks to the reveal season. And then for the next month, they start revealing cards and stuff like that. I think that'll be the timeline, but we'll have to see. But it's nice to know it's close. And I don't know if you missed it, or anyone else here if they missed it, but there was a leak on Reddit yesterday, I believe, where an app store in another country basically leaked possibly that Genin Baku might be coming back to standard until the expansion releases, which I don't know. I feel like that's a very like hot topic, because people either love or hate Genin Baku. Obviously, they were problematic to the point where they were rotated early out of standard. But that's almost a good thing, right? Because if people hear that these like busted cards are coming back to standard, that might bring a bunch of people back to the game. So it'll drive like traffic and like people talking about the game, right? So in a way, that's a win. Zek, I keep getting Epic's free games though. Yeah, I'll be honest, I haven't launched Epic's game store in years, but I always see the posts on Reddit for all the free games they give away. So, and it's really funny because Epic is literally bribing people to use their game store, and people still don't want it. Immic, I think they postponed it by 1 week because the Tavern Pass got postponed by 1 week as well. Oh, okay. Maybe they adjusted some timelines internally or something. But anyways, I think, yeah, for Arthas, I think it's like I said, I think it's a C, just because it doesn't really bring anything super unique or interesting. Reform is a cool power trip deck that most people can't play. Alakir brings a unique effect. Arthas is just a Rainbow Excavate deck for the most part. And maybe I'm being harsh on it. Maybe I'm being harsh because it is so strong and I don't want to rate it too highly. That is possibly part of it too. But anyways, we'll move on to the next one. The next one is Brand's Brawnbeard, and his hero power is 1 mana and your next Battlecry triggers twice. And his passive is after you play a Battlecry minion, transform it into a random beast of the same cost. And I'm a little torn on Brand. I think the hero power is fun. Obviously, doubling Battlecries is fun, but I thought this passive was a little annoying. It was very like, I don't know, just too much RNG for my liking. Especially sometimes you'd have a minion that like you want to play that minion and keep that minion, right? But you play it and it transforms. What do you guys think? Hey Shim, how's it going? Also, Ghost, I believe the next patch / expansion announcement is coming this Thursday. In the leak on Reddit, the date was listed as June 6th, which was last Thursday, and they just delayed it a week. Oh, I didn't see that. All right, so we're taking bets. We got 3 options at this point. We got this Tuesday, this Thursday, next Tuesday. We'll see. And Mickey, you gotta go though. Have fun. Yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you have a good night. Also, you're all in for next Tuesday. All right, we'll keep track. We'll set a poll up. Brand's passive looks very interesting to me. So I think I'm butthurt about the passive because when I played this deck, I through like multiple cards, I got to play the card from Shaman. What's it called? Something Stars? The one that buffs all of your minions by +2/+3. I basically got to play that a bunch of times. So all the cards in my deck were buffed up a shit ton. But then what would happen is I would play the buffed minion and it would just transform right away. So all those stats went to waste. So that was a huge bummer. I think that's what kind of got me sore about this one. But the hero power is cool. I feel like it's a B. I feel like the hero power bumps it up a tier. Just because doubling battle cries is fun. Like, don't get me wrong, right? Bran, like the neutral Bran, warrior Bran, doubling battle cries is just fun. But I'm not big on this passive. I understand it could probably be good. There's a lot of cards in the deck where the bodies kind of suck. So generally you're getting an upgrade here, but it's again, it's random, right? And yeah, Wish Upon a Star, Steve. Yeah, that was it. Basically, through a course of events, I got to play Wish Upon a Star a bunch of times, and it didn't do anything because the buffed minions just transformed when I played them. So that was a bummer. So I think it's a B. I think the passive isn't that fun personally, just because it's so high rolly, but I think the hero power bumps it up a notch, and doubling battle cries is always fun. All right, you gotta refresh these. Next up, we have Cthulhu. So I will try my hardest not to be biased here, because Cthulhu is possibly my favorite card in the entire game. And this was probably the one I was most looking forward to playing. But what do you guys think? Cthulhu's got a bunch of buffs. He's now at 80 health, apparently, which is insane. But basically, his hero power is 1 mana, and you discover a Cthulhu card. And the passive is Cthulhu starts in your hand. And after 2 friendly minions die, you give your Cthulhu +1/+1. So it essentially has infused 2, give your Cthulhu +1/+1. So Cthulhu starts in your hand. The deck is built as a token deck, essentially. So you're spawning a bunch of little shitters and infusing your Cthulhu, and then using the hero power to further discover Cthulhu cards, which some of them are very, very good. You know, you have the Blade of Cthulhu to destroy a minion and buff up your Cthulhu. You have, you know, the Warrior one, which gives you armor, the Priest one, which gives you health, plus the 80 health, as I mentioned now. Yeah. It might not be the best deck, which is funny because in my experience, half the decks I ran into were Cthulhu. If I was going totally off of like how I feel like Cthulhu is S tier. Because this could be the worst deck in Twist, and I feel like I would want it S tier simply because I like Cthulhu so much. But I think I'll settle for A tier. And I think my reasoning for that is this basically feels like you're playing like a raid boss. You know, you have 80 health, you're, you know, buffing up your Cthulhu through the course of the game, and then eventually, hopefully, dropping this big-ass Cthulhu and just winning the game. Like, it really feels like you're playing like a raid boss. So I think in that aspect, that's very unique. Like, the 80 health alone, right? Very unique. Yeah, like when you play Cthulhu, like I said, it feels like you're playing like a boss in a tutorial or something like that. I dropped my pen. I don't know where it went. Found it. Oh yeah, the taunt that doubles, yeah, Velcor, something like that. Cthulhu 80 health might be a bit much, honestly. Yeah, I'm really wondering if when they do a real balance change, if they'll tune back some of the health values. Because the health changes were kind of like a temporary, at least in my opinion, they were kind of like a temporary band-aid fix. So I wonder if like in a real balance patch, they'll tweak the decks a bit, hopefully buff the decks, and then pull back the health values a bit. Because yeah, the 80 health is actually insane. I remember reading something about how like the Leroy deck almost can't even pump out enough damage to beat Cthulhu. Or say you're playing like Dr. Boom, right? The bombs are like little like mosquitoes for Cthulhu. Yeah, the 80 health is insane. Zek, I would need to try the deck to be able to tell. Don't have Cthulhu. So don't do this without double checking, but I'm pretty sure if you buy a Whispers of the Old Gods pack, you just get Cthulhu for free. Like I'm 99, because for a lot of expansions, there's like a freebie card, right? And if the expansion is no longer active, if you buy a pack for it, you'll get that legendary freebie. And yeah, I'm 99% sure that if you buy a Whispers of the Old Gods pack, you get Cthulhu for free. But maybe someone can confirm or deny. Illidan also does not have enough damage to beat the Cthulhu. That's just insane. But yeah, I think Cthulhu is an A because, like I said, it feels like you're playing a raid boss. The 80 health is unheard of. You're just weathering the storm and building up this big Cthulhu to eventually drop and finish off your opponent. And in that regard, I think it's very unique and interesting. And next up, we have Dr. Boom. The hero power is 2 mana and summons a 1/1 Boom bot. And the passive is after a friendly mech dies, shuffle a bomb into your opponent's deck. And, I've talked about it in the past, but I love bomb decks. I love Bomb Warrior, which I'm a hypocrite because I talk shit about plagues all the time, and Bomb Warrior is very, very similar. But I don't know. It's the bombs are, like, no pun intended, the bombs are just more explosive, right? It's 5 damage versus 2, and I just think Warrior's a more interesting class. But I don't know. In terms of being like unique and fun, I feel like it's kind of similar to Arthas, right? Arthas is pretty much just a rainbow Death Knight deck with Excavate. Dr. Boom is pretty much just a Bomb Warrior. Like, I think the hero power is super boring. Yeah, it's cool getting to shuffle a bunch of bombs into your deck, but that's all the deck's really doing. Plus, again, I don't want to influence things by balance too much here, but some of these heroes have so much health now that the bombs are like negligible. No reason for Dr. Boom's hero power to be 2 mana, 1 mana fits perfectly. I agree. When I was my last stream, when I was playing Twist and going through some of these decks, there's a huge power differential in some of these hero powers. Some of these hero powers are 1 mana and very, very strong. And then there's others that are 2 mana and could easily be 1. And this is a perfect example. This one could and should be 1 mana, 100%. The bombs aren't infinite like plagues. Yeah, can you imagine that this deck had some way to make bombs infinite? That would be interesting. If the passive made bombs infinite, I think this would be higher. I think this would be like up here. Because basically so far my idea is A's are like very unique decks, or something you can't play yourself in normal Hearthstone typically. The B's have a bit of uniqueness, and the C's are kind of just reskinned standard decks. Arthas is a rainbow Death Knight with Excavate. This is Bomb Warrior. At least Alakir's passive is pretty cool. And same with Brand's passive isn't really cool, but it's unique and the hero power is cool. Archvillain Ratham, you're living the power fantasy. Most people can't play a full deck of legendary minions, and Cthulhu feels like you're playing a raid boss. So that's my logic so far. I think Dr. Boom is a C, because like I said, it's basically just Bomb Warrior, which I like. But if you're going into this mode to play all these different and unique decks, I think Dr. Boom doesn't like fit that, right? So yeah, that's up with Dr. Boom. Next up, we have Forest Ward and Omu. The hero power is a 1 mana, get a 2/2 Treant, and the passive is after you summon a Treant, adapt it randomly. So I'll take some input here because I don't have this card, but just based on the deck and the hero power, I feel like this is a C. Kind of similar logic to the other ones here. I feel like this is just Treant Druid. But does anyone want to defend it? Which hero do you think will be S tier? I think I already know which one is S tier, but I don't want to say it yet. Because there is one here that I think is cooler than these two and is S tier, but I don't want to say it yet. Can you show the deck for Tree Dude? Yeah, here, one sec. Because, yeah, at least based on the hero power... Where are we? Oh, I do have this one. I just never played it. Okay. Yeah, see, it's Highlander. Why are all these decks Highlander? That's the problem, too, right? Especially... Oh, they're just not consistent. Oh, it's got prep. Oh, so it's not just Druid cards. It's mostly Druid cards. Malfunction's so random. Like, who designed these decks? I feel like all of these decks have 5 random-ass cards in them. Like, why is Malfunction in this deck? What else do we got here? I feel like this is very random, too. Yeah. Why is this in there, too? I don't know. Like, yeah, it fits with, like, the token buffing part, but they're not treants. Same with this. These aren't treants. See, let's count the random-ass cards in this deck. To my side. Deal with the Devil. Warband. Malfunction. 4? Is there really no minions in this deck? Yeah. Like I said. Malfunction just for extra removal to buy time. I don't know. It's just some of these cards. Like I said, I feel like all these cards, a lot of these decks, the problem is, one, they are Highlander decks, so they don't feel consistent, and 2, they have a bunch of random shitty cards in them. So if they can make these decks, you know, a little bit more consistent, I think these allies would be a lot stronger. No minion treant druid. Yeah, Chat GPT generated deck. So, anyways, looking at the deck, I stick by C. It's pretty much just treant druid, which fits in the theme of the C's here. That's where we'll go. Next up, we have Guff Room Totem. The hero power is 1 mana, gain 1 attack this turn, and it's usable twice. And the passive is after your hero gains attack, they also gain that much armor. I think it's cool. It's not super unique, but I feel like it fits in the B. It fits in the B category of it's not just like a default Hearthstone deck. It's not super unique, but it has a little bit of a unique aspect to it. More so the passive. You know, it's kind of like an anti-Odin, right? Instead of gaining attack on armor, you gain armor on attack. Yeah. What about you guys? Like I said, the logic I'm using so far is the C's are pretty much just standard decks. They don't really have anything super unique to them. The B's have like a little bit of uniqueness, and the A's are pretty unique. Like the B's are kind of standard decks with like a little bit of a twist. Haha. And the A's are, you know, something you can't really play in standard, or is very hard to play in standard. That's my logic so far, though. Sverna, they wanted to make decks multi-class, which is cool, and giving a lot of random no minion cards is something new, at least I've never seen it in Classic. Yeah, I do give them a little bit of credit for, you know, giving some cards from other classes of these decks, but they should have done it more. You know, with Treant Druid, like with this Treant hero, it's obviously hard because most, if not all, of the Treant cards are Druid cards. But yeah, I would have liked maybe if they would have slotted more cards from other classes into some of these decks. Zek says chart makes sense so far. If he gets 1,000 armor like a Druid in Wild, I'm out. I know that you especially ignored my message about Zyrella, which is cool. What did I miss? Yes, I'm gonna ignore that message. But yeah, so that's where I'm at so far. So next up, move over to Illidan Storm Rage. Storm Rage. The hero power is 1 mana to gain 1 attack and lifesteal this turn. The passive is after a friendly character attacks, reduce the cost of a fell spell in your hand by 1. And I think it's a B. I don't think I played this deck, but I played against it a couple times, and it's pretty cool. It's basically, it makes a bunch of like rush guys and tokens to get this discount effect, and then it's playing big fell spells. So it's cool. It's basically like a fell demon hunter with a bit of a twist. Again, no pun intended. But what about you? I know someone said earlier they really liked Illidan. Also, Spherinus says Illidan doesn't have enough damage to beat Cthulhu, which is hilarious if that's the case. But yeah, this is kind of like an armor druid with a twist. This is like a fell demon hunter with a twist. This is elemental shaman with a twist. This is kind of like a beast hunter, I guess, with a twist. Yeah, I think this is a deck. I'm definitely going to be playing Twist more, and I think this is a deck I'd definitely have to check out. Illidan is really cool, but there's nothing new to him. Still love him so much. Yeah, I think the hero power isn't that interesting. It's literally just Demon Hunter with lifesteal, but this is really cool. And the deck supports it too. Like I said, a lot of the cards in this deck, you know, summon they either summon tokens or they have rush minions. So you're really trying to maximize the discount. Yeah. His passive is whenever you see Raid Boss Cthulhu self-destruct. Is anyone able to confirm, actually? I'm sure I could go through the deck, but is anyone able to confirm if this deck truly doesn't have 80 damage in it? Because that'd be so funny. But yeah, I think that's where I'm at. So next up, we have Kael'thas Stunt. I can't talk today. We have Kael'thas Sunstrider. The passive is a... Well, sorry, yeah, the hero power is a passive where it says at the start of your turn, get a playable spell and you discard it at the end of your turn. And the passive is cards that didn't start in your deck cost 1 less. So this is pretty much like a Fiesta Mage deck where cards you generate are cheaper, and every turn you're also generating a card you can play. So I feel like by that logic, it's a B. You know, it's essentially Rainbow Mage with discounts and extra generation. Emoticon says, I've seen it beat Cthulhu. Oh, okay. So it is possible. I think if Kael'thas didn't have this hero power, it would be a C, though. Because with this hero power, it's essentially just Rainbow Spell Mage with a discount. But I think that the hero power teeters it up to B. It's like enough of a difference, enough of a twist, you know, to take it up a tier, I think. Kael'thas would be an S if he was a brunette. Emoticon, it has 2 copies of the gun spell that does 6 damage. Bell Barrage and enough duplication to do 40-50 damage off of Jace. Oh, Illidan has Jace? Okay, yeah, that would add a bunch of damage for sure. Yeah, I think Kael'thas is a B. Basically, Rainbow Fiesta Mage with a twist. It's almost a C, but I think the hero power just brings it into B, just barely. And then next up, we have King Crush. The passive is, the hero power is 6 mana to give your hero 8 attack this turn. And the passive is after you cast a spell, reduce the cost of a beast in your hand by that spell's cost. So I will say right off the bat, I didn't play this deck at all. So I'm going to defer to you guys for this. How do you think you would rate this? And once again, B's, I can already tell you right off the bat, just by reading this, I don't think it's a C. Because the C's are pretty much just like standard normal Hearthstone decks. You know, Rainbow Death Knight, Bomb Warrior, Treant, Druid. But I feel like reading this alone, King Crush is definitely the first D tier, really? So once again, keep in mind, we're not rating these based on how good the deck is. We're rating these based on how interesting, unique, or creative the decks are, like how fun they are to play. Well, maybe that doesn't help this, because apparently this is not fun to play. D for dinosaur. Because yeah, I've heard this deck is very bad. Yeah, it's tough because I don't have experience with it, but like at least this hero power, yes, it's terrible. This hero power is very bad for the cost, but it's unique, right? From my understanding, here, let's look at the deck. So basically the deck, I'm guessing the deck is full of little spells and then big minions to discount. Yeah. So early game, you're playing removal, cycle spells, and then discounting your big boys to play. I just think this hero power, man, is so bad. That's 6 mana. Like, hero powers are supposed to be something you can fall back on with like leftover mana. I feel like a hero power shouldn't be designed as like a primary thing to do that turn. So in that sense, I think this is a huge fail, the hero power, but it's got the unique factor, right? Sverna crushes my S. Big beasts are very cool, and there are a few of those that were forgotten or never played that still fit the deck. Crush gets B for using Amari Warbear, and a deck doesn't feel like a complete waste of time. I do wish he had hero power discounts, though. Hero power is great. Steve, deck doesn't have enough draw. You blow to your spells and a few minions, and that's it. So I feel like in terms of being unique... Oh, man. This is a tough one. It's definitely not a C. Because it is unique. You can't deny that, right? The hero power, the passive, also like the play pattern of the deck, right? Playing spells to discount big minions. That's unique and it's different. I almost want to go A, just based on my logic and my previous choices in terms of how unique and different it is, right? The hero, just so it's clear, the hero power is shit, at least in my opinion, but it's very unique. You know, the fact that it's 6 mana alone is huge, right? It's very different. The passive is cool. The passive is unlike any kind of like deck you can play, really. Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards A. Just, again, not how good the deck is, but how unique and interesting it is. Like, in terms of play patterns, it's pretty unique. Because just, again, to reiterate, the C's are basically just normal Hearthstone decks. The B's are kind of normal Hearthstone decks with a bit of a twist. And then the A's are things that are more unique. Something like you can't play in normal Hearthstone. And I think by that logic, King Crush is an A. Please try Crush yourself, please, please, please. Yeah, so I'll definitely be playing more Twist. I don't think it'll be today, maybe Wednesday. Actually, if they do so the reason I didn't want to play Twist today is because I'm assuming and hoping they do a balance patch for Twist tomorrow. So if that is the case, Wednesday I'll play some more Twist. Zek, really not sure about Crush. Sounds fun in theory, but can see hang-ups. Yeah, what was it? Steve mentioned not having enough draw in the deck. So it sounds like you might just blow your load early and then kind of get stuck with nothing. So definitely room for improvement in the deck, it sounds like. But I think just in terms of what the deck's doing and the play pattern and the hero power, I think it's unique. I think by my previous logic, I think it fits an A. Next up, we have Leroy Jenkins. The hero power is 0 mana and says the next minion you play this turn costs health instead of mana, and the passive is both players' cards cost 1 less. So Leroy is one I didn't play, so you guys can kind of fill me in some more here, but from my understanding, it's just an aggro deck that's using your health as a resource to accelerate, you know, the aggro. And your aggro cards are getting discounted. Here, let's take a look. So what do we got here? Oh, yeah, this tops out at 5 mana. Okay. Yeah, we got some charge here, some draw. Got some life steal to gain back, you know, the life you're spending. Got a bunch of divine shields, card draw buffs. Yeah, what do you guys think? Also, emoticon, that's true. You can't play this crush concept in normal Hearthstone. Yeah, that's my logic. Where basically the A's, you know, are decks like you're not going to play in normal Hearthstone. Yes, you can play a full legendary deck in Hearthstone, but I would argue most people can't. So I would say for most people, they can't play this in normal Hearthstone. Out of 10, crushes concert. With Leroy, you can almost fill your entire board turn 1. Very unique and fun at times. Yeah, it definitely kind of seems like a glass cannon deck, right? Like you're basically going all in. I don't know how much this deck can recover. Like if you just go all in and get a board wipe, how easily can Leroy redraw or recover? Watching Crush play piano is hilarious. Leroy's an aggro zoo warlock concept built on the backs of thematic paladin cards, using Leroy's famous Russian blindly historical meme value as an excuse. I could play this deck in wild if I could. Just be a warlock. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards B, where it's essentially an aggro deck with a twist. The twist being that you can pay life for the next minion you play. So I don't think it's quite like I said, these three are pretty much just normal decks without really any kind of super unique thing to them. I think I'd bump it up to B. Just for being an aggro deck that you can, or not. The fact that this only applies to your next minion, though. Like, you're only utilizing it once per turn. Leroy's classic vomit minions aggro. Maybe it is C. Like, it's pretty much just an aggro deck, right? But using your health for 1 minion a turn. Yeah, I'm leaning towards C the more I think about it. I would scratch Crush's back. Gotta remember his passive. Your 1 costs are free. Oh, there's only 4 1 costs though. I will say, if a huge chunk of the deck was 1 costs, I would bump it up a tier. The fact that you pointed that out, but there's only 4 1 costs in the deck. Yeah, I think I'll go with C. Pramod, sorry I came late. Why is Cthulhu A tier? So just so it's clear to everyone, if anyone joined late, I'm not rating these based on how strong the decks are. I'm rating them based on how unique and interesting the decks are. So basically down here at C tier, these are almost just normal Hearthstone decks. Arthas is basically just a Rainbow Death Knight with Excavate. Dr. Boom's basically just Bomb Warrior. Omu is just Treant Druid for the most part. Leroy, I'm currently on Leroy and I keep bouncing back and forth between C and B, but Leroy's basically just an aggro zoo deck. And then B tier, these are the decks that, you know, they're kind of a normal Hearthstone deck, but they have a bit of a twist. So this is Elemental Shaman, but the passive effect is very, very unique and strong. Bran is kind of like a beast druid, or sorry, beast hunter deck, but both the passive and hero power are pretty unique. Guff is a like armor druid deck, but again, the passive is very unique. Illidan is a fell demon hunter, but also has a unique passive. And then Kael'thas is like a rainbow fiesta mage, but the hero power I think tips it up into B. And then finally, A. The A's are decks that just don't exist in normal Hearthstone. Like they're different or unique enough that you can't play something like this in normal Hearthstone. So Rafam, yes, some people can play a full legendary deck in normal Hearthstone, but I would argue most people can't. So I think the power fantasy of playing a full legendary deck is very fun and unique and something most people can't do. And Cthulhu is like a raid boss. Cthulhu has 80 health. You're slowly building up your Cthulhu as the game goes on and eventually slamming it down and hopefully finishing your opponent. And like I said, it feels like you're playing against a raid boss. I feel like that's executed very well here. And then King Crush is just unique in multiple ways, right? The hero power being 6 mana, the passive, the play pattern of playing spells to discount big minions. I think that's very unique. So that's my logic so far. And hey, bruh, we are currently doing a tier list for all of the heroes in Twist currently. So I basically just went over it, but I'm rating them not based on how strong they are. I'm rating them based on how interesting or unique they are. I didn't want to do a tier list for balance because things could change at any point, right? Blizzard has said that they're going to continue doing balance updates for Twist. And based on what they've done so far, I believe it. I hope they stick with the balance changes. But if I did a whole tier list based on how strong the decks were, it could change next week or it could change tomorrow. So I wanted to do something that would last longer, right? Because the soul of these decks and the way they play, that's not going to change. So that's what I wanted to rate them on. I wanted to rate them based on how unique and interesting they are. But like I said, Leroy is where I'm at right now, and I keep bouncing back and forth between B and C. I think I'm going to go with C. Because it's pretty much just an aggro deck that you get to play 1 minion for health each turn. If the passive was something more unique or interesting, it'd probably be a B, but I think I'm going to go with C. Sverna, by the way, I don't like the fact that some decks don't have themselves as cards in their deck. I didn't realize that. That's really weird, actually. And bruh, yeah, bruh, didn't you have a test on Friday or today or something? How did that go? If so, emoticon, I guess we'll have to see. But next up, we have Nozdormu. The hero power is 2 mana to draw a dragon. It costs 1 less. And the passive is start with an extra mana crystal. You only have 30 seconds to take your turn. And I'll say right off the bat, we talked about this a bit earlier, but this is another example where this hero power could and should be 1 mana. Some of the hero powers that are 1 mana are so strong, I don't see why this isn't 1. So that's something I hope they tweak. But I don't think, I feel like by my logic, this is just a C, right? This is essentially just a dragon deck with the permanent Nozdormu effect. It's actually not even as strong as normal Nozdormu. Nozdormu is 15 seconds normally, but you have 30 seconds here. Zach Leroy goes up to B if you yell his name every turn. I will say one cool thing about these is it lets you kind of preview and play with the different hero skins, right? Some of these hero skins are, the more premium ones, like Leroy. What the hell is his name again? Rafam. What else we got here? Those are the main 2. Oh, Cthulhu. So yeah, it's cool. It lets you play with some of these hero skins that are a little more expensive. But yeah, I think Nozdormu is just a C. It's pretty much just a dragon deck. And having to play your turns a little faster. And I think that, you know, in terms of balance, this could be 1 mana, 100%. I also brought it'll be tomorrow. I had another one on Friday. I don't know if I did good enough. We'll see. I'm crossing my fingers for you, man. I saw a bunch of people complaining about the monetization. Yeah, that is one thing they could definitely improve with this twist season, where basically there's 19 heroes currently, and you have to own the associated card to play the deck. I believe 6 of them are core cards, so everyone has access to those 6, but the remaining 13, you would have to own the card to play. And the problem is, a lot of these cards are old and shitty. You know, when I played Twist last week, I had people asking me like, oh, should I craft X card to play this deck? And I said no. You know, like for example, Dr. Boom. Dr. Boom requires the OG Dr. Boom. And there's absolutely no reason to craft OG Dr. Boom in 2024. Like, unless you're just swimming in dust, do not spend 1,600 dust on Dr. Boom just to play Twist for a few weeks. It's not worth it. So yeah, in that regard, you know, I understand why they did it, right? They're trying to get people to buy packs, to spend their dust, but I just think they went about it the wrong way. You know, one suggestion one of my viewers had was, instead of having a specific card to unlock this deck, they should have done it where any version of this card would have done it. So for instance, Cthulhu. If you have any version of Cthulhu, it gets unlocked. If you have any version of Dr. Boom, it gets unlocked. Because there's at least 3 versions of Dr. Boom. Kael'thas, there's multiple versions. Nosdormu, there's multiple versions. So I think that would have been the better way to do it, is have multiple unlock requirements for these cards instead of just one, and make it like the oldest and shittiest version of the card that you need. Emoticon, I love that Nosdormu pushes the time thing into relevance. It's a C, but deserves a verbal nod for flavor. Oh, for sure. In terms of flavor, it's cool. I feel like they could have went for the 15-second route. Like when I was playing Nosdormu, every time it switched to my turn, I kept expecting the rope to start burning right away, like it does with Nosdormu normally. So the 30 seconds felt kind of long. I feel like they can always drop this down to 30. Also, the fact that you start with an extra mana crystal is like forgettable. It's such a minor little thing. Zach, you unlock each deck by having a specific legendary. I don't get the complaints about monetization, honestly. It's way better than expecting people to buy multiple entire sets just for one season. Bruh, so you have to print the worst cards in history to play certain heroes. Yeah, that's the problem. If this required newer cards, or if there were multiple options to unlock it, it wouldn't be so bad. But it's the fact that these require old shitty cards to unlock them. And then, it's like, you want to see how greedy Blizzard is? Here, check this shit out. So in the shop right now, there's bundles to unlock multiple of these legendaries. And check out the prices on these bitches. Keep in mind, I'm in Canada, which the currency... So, you can see these bundles. So here's a bundle. You want to play Dr. Boom? Just pay $25. Get Dr. Boom, which is shit. Get Guff, which is shit. And get Omu, which actually does see play. But yeah, so I'm in Canada. So this $25 is about $20 American. So $20 American for 2 shitty legendaries and 1 good one. Just to play some decks for a few weeks. So bad. Same with this one. Nosdormu. Why are you crafting or buying Nosdormu in 2024? Same with King Crush. Zul'jin's actually okay. But still. Most of these sets, it's like 1 good card, 2 shitty cards. Over here, Xyrella is a decent card. Arthas and Lich King are okay. They're fun cards. They're not like competitive by any means. But yeah, basically pay $20 to $25 for a couple shitty legendaries to play Twist decks. That's bad. But compared to this previous Twist where you have to craft an entire player deck instead of just one legendary. Oh, for sure. Some of the previous Twist seasons were so bad. Were much worse, for sure. Spare Knife counting Inventor Boom. There's 4. Oh, I forgot about one of them then. That's how it should have worked, though. I think there should have been multiple unlock requirements for each of these. Like I said, if you unlocked any Dr. Boom, unlock this card, not just the oldest, worst one. Also, Duels died for this. Yes, you are right. Duels died for this. If they want people to spend gold on packs and make expansions less expensive to compete, I still think that they should reduce the gold cost on like wild only sets. You know, imagine wild packs were even 75 gold or something, right? I feel like that would promote and push people into wild so much more. Also, 20 USD is about 10% of a minimum wage. It's a good deal. Realistically, a 1600 dust deck is a way better deal to get the uninitiated than Forge previous Twist format. So I will agree. I will agree that 1600 dust for a deck is a great deal. The problem is you're crafting that deck to play it for 2 months max. That's the problem. So after 2 months, when this Twist is gone, you're stuck with just a shitty legendary. That's the problem. If you're just looking at this month and next month, it is a good value, but after that, it's awful value. Let's keep moving on. I get sidetracked. Next up is N'Zoth the Corruptor. The hero power is 2 mana to summon a 1/1 copy of the last Death Rattle minion you played, and the passive is after you play a Death Rattle minion, trigger its Death Rattle. And at the very least, this is a B. I don't think it's quite an A, although it was really, like, I feel like there's so many different ways you can play this. Like, because the hero power is based on the last Death Rattle you played, you know, you have some influence and you can kind of start looping Death Rattles. I don't know if it's quite A or not, though. Because it is essentially just a Death Rattle deck, right? I think by my logic, it's a B. Because it's essentially a Death Rattle deck, but you're just triggering Death Rattles like crazy. You're repeating Death Rattles. And I feel like that's what these other decks are. They're pretty much pre-existing decks with a twist. So I think by that logic, it is a B, although it's very close to being an A. And it was, in terms of fun, it was fun. When I played N'Zoth, it was great. There's a lot of cool Death Rattles in the deck. And like I said, if you set it up to, you know, play a certain Death Rattle, then just start repeating it with the hero power, it's really fun. Credit where credit is due. The little events they've been putting out help a lot with the free-to-play resource maximization. Oh, for sure. I've talked about it in the past that over the last couple years, the game has got pretty generous. I think if you're a free-to-play player, the last couple years have been the best you've been eating since the game released. It has cards from every class. Does it? Let's take a look. If it does, I think it gets bumped up to an A. So let's take a look. Because some of these other decks, they're like 90% from one class and have a couple cards from other class. I'm not going to count that. But if it's like genuinely a good mix, we got Hunter, Priest, Druid, Hunter, Warlock, Priest, Warlock, Rogue, Mage. Okay, that's cool. Got some neutrals, Demon Hunter. Got a dual class. Warlock, Hunter. Okay, that's cool. I think that bumps up to an A. So Zach, thank you for pointing that out. This deck genuinely has a mishmash of cards from different classes, which is obviously something you can't do in normal Hearthstone. So I think that bumps up to an A. That's a good thing to point out. Not as generous as Legends of Runeterra, but they're going bankrupt, so that's not a good thing. Yeah, so I haven't played Legends of Runeterra in at least a year. It's a good game, though. I think Legends of Runeterra is like the perfect mix of Hearthstone and Magic. You know, it has aspects of both games, and I think it's a great game. I think it's a really good game. And as you said, bruh, the monetization and the amount of free shit they just threw at you in that game was great. Like, if you're a free-to-play player, do you want to play a card game and not put any money into it? Legends of Runeterra was the best, and it still is the best option to go with. And it's just a fun game. Like I said, if you play Magic at all, and you wish you could play, like, Hearthstone but Magic, it's Legends of Runeterra, 100%. Zek Nazoth is a Death Rattle deck if you can combine all the Death Rattle decks into one. Yeah, the fact that you pointed out that it has decks from all the classes, that I'm gonna say it's an A tier. Nunya, I'd like the duels mechanic back, maybe with multiplayer, as a single player version is sad/dull. They might have killed it off dual class cards. They might have like killed off dual class cards again. I think dual class cards are such a tough thing to balance. You know, the problem is 90% of the dual class cards, they're only played by one class. You know, it's essentially not even a dual class card. There is some examples of cards that have been played by both classes pretty equally, but 90% of the time, they're just only see play with one class. So it's essentially not even a dual class card. It's a cool idea, but just the execution's not been there. Sverna, I wish there was an ETC type card that allowed to take a card from another class at the deck creation. Oh, that's a cool idea. There's such options from other CCGs. That's something I could see them exploring at some point. Like, for anyone not familiar, Magic, for instance, right? In Magic, there's 5 colors, and each color, is kind of like associated with a different style of play. Like red in Magic is like fire and destruction and damage spells, and green is like big creatures and buffs and things like that. And you can mix and match the colors in your deck. So you can make a deck that's just one color. You can make a deck that's just green, or you can make a deck that's red and green, or you can make a deck that's all 5 colors, right? You can kind of mix and match there. That's always something I thought it'd be interesting if Hearthstone did something like that, right? If there was some way to mix and match. So you are right, Sverna. I don't think they would ever do like a full deck of mixing and matching cards, but maybe like an ETC type card to add 1 or 2 cards from another class to your deck. I could see that happening. Also, Brawl Legends of Runeterra is genuinely amazing, and I found out that if you have every card, then it just becomes boring to play. At least that's my experience. Faria. Oh, that brings back memories. I played Faria as well. I am a huge card game nerd. You know, every card game that's out there, I've at least tried at some point, and Faria was cool. Faria, for anyone who doesn't know, was a card game, but it also had a board element. So when you played your minions, it was actually like a unit on the board, and you kind of move them around. So that was cool. Nazoth's hero power and passive are so cool. I do wish the deck took more risks on power. They went weak with some of the cards, but I give it an A for being completely impossible to experience the side of Twist. I agree. And like you said, I also agree that a lot of these decks are super underpowered, and I'm really hoping they buff them. Because, as I mentioned, most of these decks, all but 2 of them, 17 of these decks are Highlander decks, which by their nature, they are less consistent. And then add on the fact that a lot of these decks have just random shitty cards in them, you know? Like a lot of these decks, it's like 25 of the cards are good, and it's just like 5 random bullshit cards thrown in. So there's a huge area of opportunity to buff these decks for sure. But let's move on. I'm already quite far into this. This is going to be a nightmare to edit. Next up, we have Patches the Pirate. The hero power is 3 mana to draw a pirate, and the cost reduces by 1 after you play a pirate. And the passive is after you summon a pirate, it deals 1 damage to a random enemy. So I think by my logic, it's B. It's basically a pirate deck with a twist, right? I don't think it's crazy or unique enough to be an A, unless someone wants to argue for it, because I will say I don't own Patches, so I haven't played this deck, but I think based on face value, it seems like a B based on my previous entries. Zek, the solo roguelike deck builder mode in Legends of Runeterra is really fun. Never got into regular modes though. Yeah, what was that called? Path of Champions. Yeah, Path of Champions in Legends of Runeterra is really, really cool. I love roguelike deck builders like that. I've actually been looking into getting some kind of physical like deck builder game to play recently. Like anyone, I don't know if you're familiar with like say the Dominion, right? Dominion is a classic deck builder board game, and I've been looking into getting something like that recently. Cake, the thing is, most standard decks don't last for more than 2 months, either due to buffs, nerfs, or new cards. I'm assuming you're talking Legends of Runeterra. And I will say, so if I had to give one negative for Legends of Runeterra, it would be the fact that the developers seem to be very anti-control. And for anyone that knows me, I love control decks. I love slow, grindy decks. Every card game I play, whether it's Hearthstone, Magic, whatever, I love control decks. And it seems like in Legends of Runeterra, every time a control deck gets viable or meta, it just gets nerfed. So that was always a big bummer to me, that it seems like they wanted people to gravitate towards, you know, aggro, tempo, combo. And it's just like, I understand it feels bad for some players to play against control decks, but it just sucks that they would always nerf control decks in my experience. So that was the one negative to Legends of Runeterra. If that wasn't the case, I feel like I might have made a complete switch to Legends of Runeterra, because it is a really, really good game. But the fact that there was never like a consistent control deck for me to play, that's what held it back for me. Nunya, I wouldn't mind if the dual class cards weren't lopsided and often useless to one class. Bruh, Magic balances multi-class with lands. Not all mana is equal. Emoticon, you just said you're a huge card game nerd and you've tried everything. Have you ever played UFS? Universal Fighting System. It's a game I liked. I've never even heard of that. Is that a digital game or a physical game? Let me write it down. UFS, Universal Fighting System. Yeah, I'm curious. Emoticon, is that a digital game or a physical game? Sverna, by the way, what does ETC stand for? It's Elite Tauren Chieftain. Pirate deck with a twist, I concur. Yeah, I think it's a B. The pirate deck is another one of my favorites, but I gotta agree it's not that special. All right, so it seems like we're all on the same page. Patches is a C, or sorry, a B. All right, we're almost done. Next up is Sir Finley Murgleton. The hero power is 1 mana to draw a Murloc, and the passive is your Murlocs have Rush. Oh no, what did I do? Give me a sec. I like resized something and screwed something up. All right, there we go. Is this a C or a B? Actually, let's take a look. Let's take a look at the deck. The deck will decide. If it's just like Shaman cards, it's a C. If it has a mix of cards, it's a B. That's what's going to boil down to, I think. Oh, we got some Paladin, Priest, Shaman. Shaman, Priest, Paladin. Whoa, Warlock? All right. I think that bumps it up to a B. Because it's basically just it's basically just a Murloc deck, but the fact that it's bringing cards from other classes together so much, I think that bumps it up to a B. I don't think the hero power and passive are unique enough to bring it up to an A, because N'Zoth is the same thing, right? N'Zoth is bringing a bunch of different cards from different classes together, but I think the fact that the hero power and passive are so cool and unique bumps it up to A, but the hero power and passive here is just drawing a Murloc and giving them Rush. Not that special or unique. I think it's just a B. Sverna, Hearthstone never had a control meta until a lot of Reno cards started to release. So like 2020. I will disagree there, because literally like classic Hearthstone, like Control Warrior has been a thing since classic Hearthstone. Like, I agree, aggro for the most part has always been the strongest deck, but there's pretty much, I would say 80 to 90% of the metas in Hearthstone, there's been at least one semi-viable control deck since classic. Chat, we need to let the streamer work. Yeah, you guys are chatty Cathys today, so we're gonna do this a little slow, but hey, I don't mind. I'm having fun here. I like chatting with you guys. But yeah, I like I said, I would say yes, control isn't always like the top tier archetype, but it's always at least semi-viable. Like for the most part, in most of Hearthstone's history, you could play a control deck and do decently. But from what I remember from Legends of Runeterra is anytime a control deck got semi-viable, it would just get nerfed. And that's what was a big bummer to me for the game. Zek hasn't played Universal Fighting System either, but is always looking for more games to try, so I'll check it out. Universal Fighting System's physical. It was made using licensing from fighting video games. It had Street Fighter, Rival Schools. That's cool. Mechanics to mirror. Oh, I'll just take a look. So is it like a game they discontinued? Are they not making new cards for it, I'm guessing? I'm pretty sure Control Priest was the strongest deck in Standard throughout the last year. Yeah, for sure. There's periods of Hearthstone's meta where Control is the strongest archetype, but I feel like if you were to average it out across Hearthstone's history, yeah, it's probably, it has to be aggro, right? Sverno, there were always some viable meta control decks, but tier 1 is almost always mostly aggro. I would agree. But like I said, control, for the most part, is at least semi-viable. But at least in my experience with Legends of Runeterra, the developers did not want it to be viable at all. Like, they didn't want the average player to queue up for a game and play against control. But yeah, Finley will be a B. Yes, it's just a Murloc deck, but the fact that it has cards from different classes bumps it up to B, but the hero power and passive aren't unique enough to bump it up to an A. That's where I'll go with that. 3 more to go, guys. So next up is the Lich King. The hero power is 2 mana to summon a 1/1 zombie with Reborn and charge, and it dies at the end of turn. So it's essentially the Death Knight hero power, but with Reborn. And then the passive is after you spend a corpse, summon a risen skeleton with stats equal to the corpse's spent. So, kind of leaning towards C. It's basically just a Death Knight deck. The hero power is basically just a normal hero power with Reborn, and you get a little bonus for summoning corpses. It's just Rainbow Death Knight, kind of lame. Yeah. Like, I don't think there's any... So, the hero power is not unique. The hero power is literally just Death Knight hero power with Reborn tacked on, and I don't think the passive is unique enough to bump this up to B. It's just putting a body on the board when you spend corpses, right? That's not that interesting or unique. Leaning towards C. Does anyone want to fight for the Lich King? Does anyone think it should be higher? And Emoticon, oh, UFS is defunct now. It's too bad. Also, like Soul Calibur, people had ways of using items. Street Fighter had mechanics to address super bars and stuff. That's cool. I'll have to take a look. The Murloc deck is a blend of Paladin and Shaman, which would be cool if we hadn't already had Murloc decks in solo mode. It's true. Well, there was also Priest cards and Warlock cards I saw too. If this was only Paladin and Shaman, I probably would have had it at C. But the fact that it had cards from 4 classes, I think it bumps up to B. It's unique enough. Or I like control decks that have to use resources wisely. Control Priest just create too many cards to fail. I agree. My favorite Hearthstone meta is old school Control Warrior, because back then, everyone had a finite amount of resources. You weren't just randomly generating endless amounts of bullshit, right? And you had to weigh your own resources. You had turns where, should I brawl now? Should I save it? Should I use the shield slam on this? Should I use it on something else? Nowadays, it's like, yeah, I'll shield slam the 2/2, so I'll generate another one later on. Who gives a shit? Or it's like, yeah, I'll brawl this board. I can generate 2 more in my deck. So I like those old style control matchups where you actually had to weigh your resources and think about your opponent's resources as well. Nowadays, it's just no one runs out of resources. No one runs out of cards. It is what it is. I want to kind of stay on topic now. No, don't worry about it, man. I like chatting with you guys. If this takes all night, I don't care. It's fair enough, but Lich is unique in the way that it's green, green, red, which is also the reason he doesn't have the spell. Oh, I didn't realize that. But still, I think they should adjust this. Like, this is a corpse spending deck, right? Why wouldn't you have the chromatic explosion in it? So, and also, like, it's twist, right? Bend the rules, maybe. Like, leave this as a green, green, red deck and throw chromatic explosion in it. Like, who cares, right? It's twist. It's supposed to, like, bend the rules, right? But yeah, I think that should be taken from Arthas and put in Lich King. Lich King is just hero power Death Knight, which it had a passive I could see in standard on a legendary. I literally, for the rest of the game, insert passive here. Yeah, I think the passive is a little boring. It's just getting you a body when you spend corpses, right? All right. So next up, we have Xyrella. And some of you guys have been waiting for this one. The hero power is 1 mana, and it says restore 2 health. Mana Thirst 8, restore 4 health instead. And the passive says your max health is 60. Reach it to win the game, and damaging the enemy hero heals your hero. And surprise, surprise, this is the S tier for me. I think this is so, so unique. And I raved about this last week during my stream, but I really hope this idea makes its way into the game with some kind of legendary. You know, I talked about it where I could see a quest using this effect. I could see some kind of legendary card. It's fair enough. Wow, that was so unexpected. You know, even if you chop off this bottom part, right? Just your max health is 60, reach it to win the game. There's never been a win condition like that in the game. I think that's such a cool idea for Priest. The hero power is neat. The fact that it has Mana Thirst, that's cool. And the bottom is just icing on the cake, right? Basically giving your minions and your spells lifesteal. Like, there's so much going on here. Your hero power gets better as the game goes on. Your minions and spells have lifesteal, and yeah, your goal is to just build up health and win through that. And I think I love, for anyone who's been watching me for a while now, you know that I love alternative win conditions. I love, you know, wacky ways to win the game. You know, like Wheel of Death is a recent example, right? I love stuff like that. And that's one reason, maybe I'm a little biased here, but I think out of all of these decks, this is the most unique. Like, this is the most unique and different. And I'm glad you guys agree. Cartman says S tier, Emoticon S tier, Zek S tier. All right, I'm glad we're on the same page here, guys. Emoticon, there's no health-based win condition in the game, and there should be by now. Yeah, so I talked about this last week during my stream, but I really hope that they bring this into the game. I think it would, because I've talked previously how about Priest. The problem with Priest right now is it doesn't have any real win condition. Like, Priests win games just by generating endless value and stealing your win conditions. You know, I think Priest would be less frustrating to play against if it had a real win condition, and something like this would be a perfect example. I think this feels like such a Priest effect. You know, like I said, I can see this as a quest. I could see this as a legendary where it just says, you know, you now have Battle Cry, you now have no maximum health. If you reach X health, win the game, whatever. I just feel like there's so many ways for them to implement this into the game. And I hope they do, because I love stuff like this. Xyrella already exists. Everyone hates it. It's essentially the idea behind Demon Seed. I don't know. I would agree and disagree, right? That because with Demon Seed. I thought you said Wheel of Death. It's essentially the idea behind Demon Seed. It is similar, I guess, in some regards, right? I guess, but there's more interaction with this. With Demon Seed just dominoes out of control and there's no way to stop it. But with this, you can keep like fighting their health back down, right? But I do think that people do get frustrated with win the game conditions. So in that regard, they would have to be careful. But I think it's super cool and unique effect. Zach, gotta head out, finish the stream later. Have a good night. Yeah, thanks for watching. Take care. Hope we see you on Wednesday. Emoticon, remember, I'm the guy who gave you the created card with the infinitely spawning minions in the hand for Dan, but Death Knight. Oh, shit. Hey, man, I remember. Yeah, I thought it was so cool. You were the, it's happened a couple times now, but you were the first person to, you know, for me to highlight a custom Hearthstone card and then them reply in the comments. You were the first time that happened, and I thought it was so cool. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you enjoyed getting a little shout out. And yeah, you're big on win conditions. Zyra looks like something I'd make. Yeah, like I said, I love stuff like this. I love Wheel of Death. I love Purified Shard, Mechathune. Like any weird win condition like that, I love. So this is easy S tier. All right. So last but not least, we have Zul'jin. The hero power is 2 mana to discover a secret. It costs 1 less. And the passive is after you play a secret, summon a 2/2 Berserker. Are we going to finish on a Whimper here? Is this a C? Is it just Secret Hunter with a little bit of an upside? It's fair enough. Wow, you've been doing the tier list for already 2 hours. Yeah, this one's going to be a bitch to edit. But it's been fun chatting with you guys. You guys have been really talkative today, which is nice. But yeah, this one's going to take a while to edit. But yeah, okay, here's we'll test this again. Is this only Hunter cards? If this is only Hunter cards, it's C. If it has cards from other classes, I think it goes up to B. Oh, it's looking good. Got some Hunter stuff, some Mage stuff, Paladin, Mage, Rogue. Okay, I stand corrected, guys. I'll take this up to B. Yes, it's essentially just a secret deck with a bit of an upside, but the fact that it's bringing in cards from multiple classes, I think that brings it up a tier. It's definitely a little bit unique. Bruh, don't get it, man. We're trying to sabotage the stream so we can watch it for longer. Well, you guys have been accomplishing that goal, that's for sure. Emoticon, sorry for the length, homie. No, don't be sorry. I love doing this shit with you guys. Yeah, so like you said, Zul'jin is nothing crazy, but the fact that it's bringing in cards from multiple classes, I think that brings it up a tier. So, in summary, Zyrella S tier. I think Zyrella is the most unique deck and hero by far. You know, we've never had a win condition like this in the game. I hope it translates over to normal Hearthstone at some point, and it's just super fun and unique. The A's are, again, very unique decks that you can't play in normal Hearthstone. So, yes, some people have full legendary decks like Rafam, but I would argue most people don't. You know, most people can't play a full legendary deck. So in that sense, Rafam is like that power trip. Like it's giving you all kinds of fun toys to play with. Cthulhu is basically a raid boss. You know, it has 80 health. You are basically just slowly getting stronger and stronger until you're dropping your Cthulhu and hopefully winning the game. King Crush, the hero power is unique. You know, it's 6 mana, which is very different. The passive and the play pattern is very unique, playing spells to discount beasts and, you know, play big beasts. So in that sense, it's very unique, and there's not really an equivalent deck in normal Hearthstone. N'Zoth has death rattles and stuff from all different kinds of classes, and the hero power and the passive has so much synergy. You know, just being able to repeat and trigger death rattles multiple times is super fun. The bees are basically normal Hearthstone decks with a bit of a twist. No pun intended. Alakir is an elemental shaman deck, and the passive, you know, gets you a cool effect every time you play a legendary. Bran is like a beast hunter deck, but with a semi-permanent Bran effect where you can double battle cries, and it also has the passive for random beasts. Guff is like an armor druid, but the passive is like an anti-Odin. So instead of gaining attack on armor, you're gaining armor on attack. Illidan is a fell demon hunter with the mana cheating built in. Yeah, like I said, it basically normal decks with a bit of a twist. Kael'thas is like a rainbow Fiesta mage with a bit more card generation and just letting you do more stupid shit. Patches is a pirate deck, which, if I remember right, it also has cards from multiple classes, and the hero power and passive aren't that unique or interesting, but the fact that it has cards from multiple classes kind of tipped it over the edge. Sir Finley is also the same, where the hero power and the passive are actually very boring. They're not super unique or interesting, but it's bringing cards together from multiple classes, which you can't normally do in Hearthstone. So in that sense, it is a little bit unique. And same with Zul'jin. Zul'jin is essentially just a secret deck, but it's pulling cards together from different classes. So these last three are kind of the same, where they're not that. The hero powers and the passives aren't that unique or interesting, but the fact that they're pulling in cards from multiple different classes kind of outweighs that and bumps them up a bit. And then finally, we have the C's, which the C's are essentially just normal Hearthstone decks. Arthas is just a Rainbow Death Knight with Excavate. Dr. Boom is a Bomb Warrior deck. Omu is a Treant Druid deck. Leroy is just an aggro deck with a little bit of mana cheat. Nozdormu is just a shitty dragon deck with permanent Nozdormu, and Lich King is just a corpse Death Knight deck with a free body every so often. Yeah, I think if you're looking to jump into Twist to play decks that are mechanically unique and interesting, the A's and S's are where you want to start. I think the C's can pretty much be avoided if that's what you want to do, and the B's are in the middle. So I think that's where we're at. Sverna, I really wish they returned Zul'jin to standard once. He's one of my favorite heroes. Yeah, so little spoiler here. This Thursday, I'm releasing a video that is the top 5 hero cards in Hearthstone, and Zul'jin's on the list. I'll let you guess what number it is, but Zul'jin, to me, if I was when I picked the top 5 strongest hero cards in the game, I put Zul'jin on the list. Zul'jin, more often than not, is like just a 10 mana win the game. Hunter spends their first 9 turns just like whittling you down and then just slamming Zul'jin and either winning on the spot or just generating so much value. Thank you for my sweetheart crush in A tier. I'll tell him he should not eat you for breakfast tomorrow. Thank you. Like I said, once I got a feeling of how I was rating these and kind of the logic I was using, yeah, I would say it's an A. From my understanding, it doesn't seem like a very good card, but it seems like an interesting card. And once again, just a reminder that I did not rate these based on balance. I simply rated these based on how interesting and unique they were. So yeah, that's where we're at. I guess I can remove save this. Got the thumbnail. So also too, for anyone who wasn't aware, from my understanding, this twist is going to continue next month, but what they're doing is they're adding more heroes. I think they're adding like 8 or 9 new heroes. So what I'll do is next month, I will do another one of these tier lists where I will then add the new heroes they add. So we'll build on this tier list next month. That's the plan. Emoticon, S's and A's you play because they're fun, B's you play if they're good, and C's you play if you're personally a fan of that style of deck. That's actually a really good way to put it. That's a good summary there for sure. Oh, all right. This was the longest tier list. This is the 4th tier list I've done now, and this was the longest one yet. I did not think this one was going to take so long. So what have I done so far? What did I do? First tier list. Let me check my YouTube channel. It's all a blur. Keywords. Keywords was the first tier list I did where I rated all the keywords in Hearthstone. Then I did Excavate Treasures. Then I did mini sets, and now I've done this. And the next tier list I'm going to do, it is, what is it? I just had it planned out. My brain's just turned to mush after this tier list. Let me check my planner. Oh, I think Whizbang decks was going to be the next one I do. Either Whizbang decks or Death Knight hero cards. That's the next tier list I'm going to do. 8 or 9 new heroes? You mean 12,000 or 14,000 dust? Yeah, from my understanding, they haven't said what the heroes are yet. I would hope that, say they add 9, hopefully like 3 of them at least are core cards, so they're free. But who knows with Blizzard. All right, so we have an hour left. Let's play some Tendrils. All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna run a quick ad on Twitch because I've not run any ads for 2 hours now. So I'll run an ad and I'll start building a deck here. Probably do Shaman to start off. All right, let's go wild.
If you make a wild deck, you can only use it in wild.
I don't think I'm gonna go Reno here. I feel like I'm just gonna go kind of like the deck I used to play, but just updated for wild maybe. So how does Shutterwalk work with Tendrils? Like, so say you played 10 Tendrils. Will Shutterwalk do a 1, 2, 3, 4, etc.? Or will it just do 10 10s? Like, how does that work? Does anyone know? I never thought about that till now. Here, put Murdering Elemental. Maybe put the quest. Sure, Bolner. Let me know if you guys can think of any cards I should add. All this talk about how cringe Control Priest is inspired me to build a questline priest deck. Now I'm regretting my decision. I'm assuming you're talking like the Purified Shard, which I think is such a cool quest. Like I said, I love cards like that. What else should we add here? I'm trying to think. Actually, I can look up my old... where's the deck tracker? I can look up my old Tendril Shaman deck as like a baseline. Sverna, I predict that your top 5 heroes are Reno, Zul'jin, Guff, Zyrella, and Tamsin. Gul'dan, Anduin, Tavish. Let me look here. So, I'm trying to remember what were. One, two, three, four. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I will say, Sverna, I won't spoil it, but out of all the heroes you listed, you got the top 5. The top 5 are in there somewhere. That video comes out on Thursday, so you'll have to wait and see. But spoiler, Reno's number 1. It's not even close. Oh yeah, let me look up my old Tendril deck. All right. So we definitely want Shutter Block. Might as well throw Shutterwalk in there. Let's see, Lightning Reflexes. Amphibious Elixir. Fairy Tale Forest I got. Flash. I think Flash of Lightning is still really good at 3 mana. What else we got? Aftershocks. Volcano. Is that how you spell it? Oh. I can't type. The Titan. Yogg. Why not? What else should I add? I got a couple more cards left. I could put Geppetto in. Ziliax. When the first 9 heroes came out in Death Throne, Rexar was definitely the best, but the power creep was too harsh. Yeah, so currently, the current like series I'm doing on stream is the Galakron streams, which this week will be the final Galakron stream. And then in a couple of weeks, the next series I want to do will be all of the Death Knight hero cards. So all of the original Death Knight hero cards, I will dedicate one stream to each of them. So that's like the next thing I'm going to do. Because I agree, the original Death Knight hero cards, pretty much all of them were like unique and interesting. It's fair enough. Have you tried Tendril decks in Standard? Why did you choose Wild for it? So Tendril decks don't work in Standard anymore. Well, they work, but there's no point in playing them anymore because Sunset Volley was nerfed, well, nerfed to 9 mana. Yeah, Sunset, so you can't loop Sunset Volley anymore. Now the only 10 cost, what is this, type? So now the only 10 cost spell in the game is the, you can't generate Necrotic Explosion. You can't generate Projection Orb. Yeah, it's just Table Flip. So if you play Tendrils in Standard now, once you max out the Tendrils at 10, they can only play Table Flip. So there's just no point to play Tendrils in Standard anymore. That's why I'm building a Wild version. Which is too bad because Tendrils, like Tendril, Shaman, Rogue, Warrior, those were some of the most fun decks I've had in a long, long time. I feel like Geppetto... Ziliax is just good, right? How did I spell this wrong? What am I doing? Probably do that for the Battle Cry synergy. All right, last card. Do I do Geppetto, Zola? I actually should put some other Overload card in my deck to make or is there just better versions in Wild? Like, I haven't really added any Wild cards, right? What Wild cards am I missing here? I'm not a big Shaman player. Why can't you generate Orb and Explosion? Because they're specifically omitted from, like, the RNG pool. So you can't discover those spells, you can't randomly generate them. So that's why previously Tendrils were so strong, because there was only 2 options at 10 mana. You could either get Sunset Volley or Table Flip, at which Sunset Volley is just insane, right? So 50% chance you were getting a very, very strong spell. And Table Flip might be good too, depending on the situation. Yeah, there's probably some obvious Shaman cards I'm missing here, right? I'm not very familiar with Wild Shaman. What are some good Wild Shaman cards I'm missing here? Something kind of like removal or healing. Feral Spirit? Oh, a Healing Rain's nice, right? X. Oh, Tidal Surge. I feel like Tidal Surge is probably better than Altered Chord for this deck. I only have one Overload card. Anything I want to drop, maybe. Any legendaries I'm not thinking of? Maybe a Healing Rain? We'll have to see. Are there any other cards that are specifically omitted for generating and discovering? I don't even know what I should Google to find a list of those. Yeah, so it is annoying from like a player perspective that there's these kind of hidden rules that aren't really obvious, right? So another example is for Death Knight. Death Knights can't discover or generate triple rune cards. And that was a change they made after Death Knight released. So say like Vampiric Blood. Vampiric Blood is a triple blood rune card. Previously, you could discover additional copies of it, but you can't now. You can't discover triple rune cards. So that's another example. Which, like I said, there's nothing in the game that kind of tells you that, which is a little annoying because you wouldn't. There's no indication that that's the case. Ooh, Torrent's nice too. Any obvious card I'm missing or any card I got one slot left. If there's anything you guys can think of. Tidal Wave is cool, but so expensive. I cannot type today. Any neutral legendary that's worth adding? Sphere? I'm like a sucker for Sphere. I think Sphere's a nice card. Finley's a nice card. Zola is also nice. Maybe I'll try that. I don't want to sit too long. Let's try this out. All right, let's see how this goes. I've never played Tendrils in Wild. I did look at the possibilities. You know, I think there is somewhere between 10 and 12 10 mana spells in Wild, and most of them are decent. I think Doom is the only one that's kind of bad, but most of the options are pretty good. So we'll have to see. Because, like I said, when I looked at the options, I think on average you're getting a pretty good result. Doom could really suck because it could just possibly overdraw you or fatigue you. But yeah, it's not going to be as consistent as it was in Standard, but we'll have to see. Hey, Sports. How's it going? You missed out the 2-hour tier list. I feel like most viewers left based on the activity, so unfortunate. This dropped a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. It happens. It goes up and down. Yeah, you guys were chatty earlier. That's for sure. This comes a bit late, but Bowler with Tendrils seems really strong. Pretty much doubling up on the Tendrils. Yeah, I'm really excited to play this deck because like I said, I loved Tendrils when they were in Standard. Well, they're still in Standard, but there's no point in playing them. But yeah, that was a long tier list. I did not expect that to take 2 hours, but we were talking a lot throughout it. So yeah, I'll probably edit that tier list this weekend and hopefully get it up next week while Twist is still out and relevant. But man, that shit's going to take me forever to edit. You guys did not do me any favors there.
Your wish is my suggestion.
Oh, I was gonna get 1 mana, 1 damage silence. What's it called? Earth something? Oh, okay. That's not what I expected. Alright, play it again. Bruh, now is my time to go since tomorrow is a special day. Test plus date. Wish me luck. Oh yeah, double luck. Yeah, good luck, man. You can let me know on Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday how it goes. Actually, quick reminder, I have something going on in real life on Thursday. So Thursday stream will be delayed until Friday. So Friday will be Galakron Warrior. It'll be the last Galakron stream. So yeah, hopefully see you on Wednesday or Friday and let me know how it goes. Do I Shutter Block and then just Bolner and rip Tendrils next turn? I think I do. Also, is the game quiet for you guys? I don't know. This happened last stream where it felt very quiet. Oh, don't do it, man. That's fine. Hey, Oswald. Opinion on classical music? Classical music is not something I'm like specifically looking out for, but there's some banger songs. I won't deny it. Sometimes I hear some classical music in some like movies or TV shows, and yeah, it's some good stuff. It's not something I'm like sitting there listening to, but it's good stuff, no doubt. Oh, that's stealth. That's nasty. Okay, that's good too. Oh, that's not so good. Can I target my own thing with stealth? I can, right? Okay. I don't want to screw this up. Can Zola target? Wait. Wait. Nice. Okay. Oh, stop drawing cards. What happened? Oh man, I'm losing out on some Tendrils here. Bro, thanks for the stream. Bye guys, I'll be sure to be here on this next stream. Yeah, like I said, good luck. Thanks for watching.
Sink, swim, it's all the same.
And yeah, Oswald, they don't make musicians like they used to. I think even I was talking recently to someone about like Michael Jackson, about how like they don't make like perform like Michael Jackson was a performer. You know, it wasn't just like a musician. And I feel like in the current age, you know, between like auto-tune and other things, like artists and musicians have just got lazier. Like, yeah, they don't make them like they used to. That's for sure. Technology's made people lazy. So the next one, just trade some stuff, I guess, because I might die. All right, triple Tendrils again. Oh, also I have no mana, or what is this shit? Oh my god. Here we go. Stop drawing cards. Wow. 17 damage to the sheep. All right, well, there's where my mana went. Just wipe my whole board. Okay. To be honest, technology's just made it easier. Man, that reminds me, I saw some video recently showing like AI music. It's crazy. Like the stuff that it's gonna be able to create in a few years, just insane. Oh no! Stop burning the Tendrils. Also, this is hand buff. These have some big boys. So I don't want to draw, but I want the discount. Alright, so I'm going to burn a card next turn again, unfortunately. I have... Yaw can give me Tendrils. I have 2 more sources of Tendrils here. Playing Astalor in 2024, man. So original. I do not miss Astalor at all. Such a dumb card. Okay, lightning reflexes. Stop burning the Tendrils. Give me something good here. Yep, I'll take that. Deny some buffs. Sure. So this will draw either Eye of Chaos or Murmuring Elemental. I really hope it's not Murmuring Elemental. Okay. Okay, that was a random card. Do I flash lightning to keep the discount going? No, I think I might fatigue. I don't want to draw. Oh, no Theotar for you. That's a little annoying, but not the end of the world. AI is interesting, but it still relies on stuff we made. Wait until they create truly original stuff if they ever... Oh, for sure. It's funny. I was just talking to someone the other day about how, you know, true AI, because, you know, everything's called AI right now, right? But it's not true artificial intelligence. And if you would have asked me 10 years ago, or probably even 5 years ago, if I thought true artificial intelligence would become a thing in my lifetime, I probably would have said no. But the last 5 years have been crazy. Like the acceleration in technology, I could see it happening within my lifetime at this point. I don't think it's going to be like next year or anything, but I think it'll happen within my lifetime with the progress they're making. Just rip this. His things are big, so this isn't going to make a big difference. All right. I mean, the day True A comes out is the day we're all screwed. Yeah, it's Judgment Day, right? Skynet. He got cold. Oh, I guess he's a Reno deck. That's annoying. Alright, overload a bit. Man, I hate due process, man. Chat GPT promised he'll spare me. I should ask him to do the same. Man, it feels weird actually playing Hearthstone now after spending the first 2 hours doing the tier list. Wow, I'm surprised he has ripped that with no buffs. Okay. Let's see if we get off this, I guess. Yeah, I don't want him to keep gaining life. Sure, it's a card I can get out of my hand, I guess. Alright, so... next turn... Oh, that completed too. Alright, so next turn, I'll play this into Tendril, Hero Power into another Tendril. So I get 4 10 costs.
No one will believe this.
I really want to be able to play Shutterwalk, because I want to see how Shutterwalk interacts with the Tendrils. I didn't really get a clear answer from chat at any point, so I don't know if anyone knows how it works. Because I don't know if Shutterwalk is going to do a bunch of 10 costs, or is it going to ramp up? I don't know. Oh, okay. The unfortunate thing, this fatiguing is not helping me. Alright, the taunts help. Oh, that's gonna clear the whole board though. Oh well. Oh, or not. Oh, I'm just dead. The fatigue killed me. Man, that due process really screwed me. Well, that was a game. That was game one. Also, Osfold, I work in AI, so maybe I'll be the one to create the first one. Oh, yeah, see, they'll spare you. You'll be the AI's dad. Can you set, like, nicknames in Twitch? Can I set your nickname as, like, Skynet's dad? Is there a way to do stuff like that? I haven't messed around with this stuff enough. Yeah, I'll keep this for, like, a turn 3 play. Tendrils and Wild sounds really chaotic. Yeah, that was the idea. I've talked about doing Tendrils and Wild for a while now, so decided to finally do it. If the tier list didn't take me so long, I was hoping to do a warrior deck as well, but I spent 2 hours on the tier list. Sverna, you should definitely add Renathal. I feel like chat's favorite thing to suggest to me is add Renathal, make your deck Reno. What else? Add Genenbaku. The more ridiculous I can make it, the happier you guys get. What's this guy playing? Yes, Osfo, it's me, Father GPT. I don't know. Is there a way to... I don't think there's a way to set nicknames on Twitch. And like Discord and stuff you can, but... let's just do this. All right. Okay. First 2 spells useless. But on the one side, our hand sucks right now. But if we keep our hand low, we can actually Yogg for Tendrils on 9. But yes, Sverna, I think you were here for my Galakron Warlock stream, right? Where, oh wow, you didn't play that straight away. Okay. My Galakron Warlock stream, it got to the point where I was playing a Quest, Reno, Renathal, odd Galakron Warlock deck. It was like everyone's dream I was watching. Oh, okay, that was perfect. Oh, and I have an elemental. I didn't even realize that. So he's playing the caverns below. Just take healing, I guess. What is this? Oh, it must be cheat death, right? Yeah, it must be cheat death. So yeah, a little sneak peek, I guess, for anyone who's still here, though. This Tuesday on YouTube, I'll be releasing a video. It's a short one. It's only a 2 or 3 minute video, but it's me talking about the rarest cards in the game. So we'll see how that goes. And then Thursday, it is another top 5 video. So instead of the top 5 worst cards, it's the top 5 best cards. So the video will be the top 5 best hero cards. So that'll come out on Thursday. And then Sundays are obviously, you know, the custom Hearthstone cards. Next Tuesday, basically my goal is to do 3 variety videos a week. So a custom Hearthstone video, either a tier list or a top 5, and then like a third video. So next week, I'm not really sure what the third video is going to be yet, but I think it'll be the tier list from today will be next Thursday. That's going to be horrible to edit, I feel like, though. I'm very curious how much I'll edit it down to from 2 hours. Like, I got to get it under an hour, right? All right. Is this how you beat the caverns below? Just them AFKing? Also, Sverna, I was on that stream and I said that making the deck auto was a mistake, but Renathal played in 95. But Renathal's played in 95% of wild decks and Reno's like 40%. Is Renathal really played that much in wild? That's crazy. Even this deck, I'm surprised they're playing a Renathal version of this deck. Do I care if I overdraw? He's just AFKing. Who cares? Oh, I'm not overdrawing. I can't math. Oswald, I'm uneducated in Hearthstone. Those videos are great. Thanks. I've talked about it before, but I think there's like a big gap on YouTube for videos like that. You know, pretty much the only major Hearthstoners that are Hearthstoners. That's a funny way to say it. Pretty much the only Hearthstone YouTubers who are doing stuff like that is Raren and Zeddy to like a lesser extent. Other than that, everyone's just doing gameplay videos, which gameplay videos are fine, but I think there's so many cool like variety Hearthstone videos you could do, right? So that's why I'm trying to do other more interesting stuff as well. All right. We're winning against the AFK rogue, guys. Renathal might be the strongest card in the game ever. It's definitely one of the coolest cards in the game, at the very least. I really wish they'd be a little bit more liberal with like bending the rules. You know, one pro with the fact that Hearthstone's a digital card game is it gives them the freedom to do things you can't do in a normal card game, right? Like, there's things in Magic, right? There's things they just can't do because it's a physical card game. It sets, like, limitations, right? You can't really do, like, randomly generated effects or big rule-bending effects. So I really wish Hearthstone would lean into that more. All right, guys. Easy game. That's how you beat the caverns below. In Ukrainian, we use the word Hearthstone very frequently. It doesn't sound odd for me. All right, perfect. Hearthstoners sounds like a group of weird drug addicts. That's the first thing I was thinking. I'm not into the marijuana myself, but if I was, I would definitely refer to myself as a Hearthstoner. Isn't Renathal just more cards and health? Is there a downside to adding it? Well, the downside is that it makes your deck less consistent, right? The more cards you have, the less likely you are to draw certain things. Hunter. But yeah, more cards isn't necessarily a good thing. You know, if there was a card that reduced your deck size to 20, that would be amazing for aggro decks. Like, that would make their decks so much more consistent, right? So, more isn't always good, and less can be a very good thing. Sports, also, most classes in Wild have enough good draw to not make the extra 10 cards much of a downside. That is true. That... What? Sledge Hunter? Okay. But yeah, that is true. That a lot of decks and classes have so much draw in modern Hearthstone that it is less of a hindrance. But theoretically, more cards isn't necessarily good because it makes things less consistent. But yeah, I think Renathal was so cool as a like freebie legendary too. This awakens next turn. I'll do this, and then Aftershocks next turn. Actually, that's a good idea for a tier list. One sec. If I was to tier list all of the, every expansion, there's always a freebie legendary that they give you when the expansion is announced. I should do a tier list for them. Because a lot of the legendaries have been pretty cool, or like very they affect the meta a lot, but some of them have just been trashed here. Yeah, let's discover first. I like the dredge. So, I talked about it earlier in the stream, but more than likely they're going to announce the new expansion next week. So, if that is the case, the freebie legendary will come out next week as well, and hopefully it's a cool one. Renathal definitely takes the cake, though. So what is this guy playing? I don't know. Sports, even classes like Shaman and Warrior can draw a lot now. Warrior even playing Mecha'thun as a win con in 2024. Yeah, that's one of the problems with modern Hearthstone, is that the amount of card draw just got out of control. Like I talked about it a bit earlier, but decks just never run out of gas anymore. Decks just have infinite resources, infinite draw, which that's one of the problems, in my opinion, with like the modern Hearthstone. So you don't want to put Renathal in here. Honestly, if I had more time, I would. But because the tier list took so long, I'm a little short on time. I don't want to change the deck too much. Which is too bad, because like I said, I wanted to play a Warrior version too, but I could always revisit this. I could always play Tendril in WoW another day too. Sure. Wonder if that was the one at the top. I'll hold it. But yeah, man, that was a good idea. Tier list for the free, like the early access legendaries, so to say. All right, rip a couple Tendrils here. All right, that was the Tendril off the top of my deck. Okay. I want to hopefully see how Shutterwalk works with Tendrils, though. What did that do? Okay. Oh, I should have played both of these. I wasn't really paying attention. Oh. Okay. Ooh, Taunt's nice too. By the way, what'll be at the stream Wednesday? Let me look at my notes. I can't remember if I planned it out yet or not. Oh, it might be Twist. So if there is balance changes to Twist this week, tomorrow more than likely, I'll play Twist on Wednesday. If they don't do any balance changes to Twist, I'm not sure what I'm going to do Wednesday yet. And then my Thursday stream is being delayed to Friday because of some obligations I have. And so Friday stream will be Galakron Warrior. It'll be the last Galakron stream. But yeah, like I said, it might be Twist on Wednesday. We'll have to see. I'm hoping and assuming they're going to make some changes this week, but we'll have to see. How do I maximize the healing here? 5, this is 9. If I trade these two, that's 10, right? Yep, I can count. All right, I actually get to play Shutterwalk this game. We'll see. But yeah, I have so many. Okay, Ragnaros. I have so many stream ideas and just not enough time to do them all. Same with videos. I have so many video ideas. I have a whole spreadsheet full of videos ideas and just not enough time to do them all. Alright, just chill. So next turn, I will Eye of Chaos. And then probably Murmuring Elemental one of the Tendrils. Turn after that, Shutterblock, Tendril, and then Yogg, maybe? That's probably the plan. So do this. What are we at right now? 5. Oh, why am I drawing so much? Please stop. Oh, that's okay. And Hex would have been sweet. I'm not overloaded. Why did I think I was overloaded? Oh god, what's he gonna get off this? Elemental Beast. Don't screw me. Oh yeah, goodbye. Goodbye, hands. Oh, that's rough though. Oh no. What is this guy playing? Am I dead? Please, RNGesus. Oh man. That was rough. It's fair enough, but you haven't even tried my sweetheart if they don't make changes. All right, here's the deal. If they have a balance patch for Twist tomorrow, I'll stream Twist on Wednesday. If they don't have a balance patch for Twist on Tuesday, I will play King Crush, and then I'll do something else. So regardless, I'll play King Crush on Wednesday at the very least. That's the deal. All right, can I pop off once with Tendrils? Like I said, I want to play Shutterwalk. I want to see what happens with Shutterwalk and Tendrils. Oh god, Demon Seed. I think Ziliax is too slow in this deck. I'd probably remove Ziliax. I feel like Geppetto's too slow as well. What would I add or what would I adjust? I'm definitely gonna do another Tendril wild stream because I wanna improve this deck and I also want to play like a warrior version. Yeah, what would I change? I take out Ziliax, I think. I don't know what else. What am I playing against these last couple games? Like, what is going on? Is this a deck I'm not aware of? I don't know if Tidal Surge is any good too. Maybe swap Tidal Surge for something else? Okay, this is Egg Warlock. Go Renathal with this deck. You're slow deck and wild when you revisit this deck. All right, so multiple people now have suggested Renathal, so for sure, when I revisit Tendrils and Wild, I'll make this a Renathal deck. I'll do it for you guys. Hey, how's the stream going? The first 2 hours of the stream were the tier list, which took a lot longer than I expected, but it was really fun. And now I'm playing Tendrils and Wild, so we'll see how it goes. So far, I haven't really been able to pop off. Actually, the problem so far is that a a bunch of the random effects have just been drawing me too many cards. That's not bad, right? And then shoot that. That's actually kind of funny. I could transform my Tendrils, and also if he's playing like Death Rattle shit, that actually is like a pseudo hex. I'll take that. I have Tidal Surge next turn, maybe. I have Volcano if he goes off a bit. Yes, this is like an Egg Warlock. All right, RNGesus, help me out here. Hey, that actually does something. All right, and the taunt too. How's my dog doing? I don't know where she is right now, actually. I was actually thinking about it this weekend, how I should set up the camera for her again. Because basically what happened is I used to have a camera for her that whenever she came in her bed in my office, I would turn on the camera in the bottom right here. But then she started just never visiting me when I streamed. Like it got to the point where she could be asleep in my office, and as soon as I started setting up my stream and talking, she'd just get up and leave. But lately she's been coming back again, so maybe I should set up her camera again. But she's not here right now, so I don't know where she is. And hey, Tantan, how's it going? Did you have a good weekend? Just trade. Yeah, we'll chill. Which class is your favorite to play Tendrils with? I got to diamond with a controlled Tendril Warlock during Festival. My favorite was Shaman. Yeah, Tendril Shaman was my favorite. I also liked Rogue a lot. Tendril Rogue is fun. See, it's too bad that they basically ruined Tendrils in Standard, because it was so unique and like so many different classes could actually play Tendrils. Wow, this guy's deck is something else. Just do this. Yeah, Tendrils were a really fun mechanic, and it was cool. It was cool seeing multiple different classes playing them. So it's too bad that they butchered it like they did. Also, is anyone watching here play Magic at all, out of curiosity? Good old Power Overwhelming. This is a cool deck. This is literally a deck out of like 2017 Hearthstone. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, no, less than that now. Goodness, baking soda. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not enough to clear the board. Just rip Tendrils. I'm not taking too much damage here. All right, help me out here. Hey, that's nice. That's nice too. Not the trade here isn't great. Just more Tendrils. More. Hey. Hey, that's pretty good for the most part, right? I just finished school. Did they nerf Demon Seed? They did not. I would be very surprised if they didn't nerf it at some point, though. It is very, very strong and very popular. And I feel like Demon Seed is one of those cards that it's only going to continue getting better as time goes. So I'd be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if they didn't nerf Demon Seed at some point in the near future. But surprisingly, this isn't Demon Seed. This is like an Egg Warlock straight out of like 2017. Cool deck, though. Also, my friend playing some games of Magic with me, and I thought it was really fun until he told me how much his decks cost. So I will say that Magic, yes, Magic can cost a lot of money, but Magic can cost as much money as you want it to cost, essentially. You know, you can build a deck or buy a deck for $50 and play it with your friends. You know, if you want to spend hundreds of dollars on a deck or thousands of dollars on a deck, you can. But like I said, it's as expensive as you want it to be. So I have plenty of cheap decks. I have decks under $100 that I've played for years. So yeah, I wouldn't judge it too much based on, you know, how much it can theoretically cost. Because Hearthstone is the same, right? You could dump a shit ton of money into Hearthstone if you want. What if I do this, then Baking Soda Volcano? What are these doing? This does Devil Sour Egg, Scarab Beetle. Let's see. Sure. Let's see what happens. Calculated, guys. Damn, I'm making Demon Hunter Tony questline now. Sounds like a fun deck. Oh, come on. I want to pop off with Tendrils. All right, guys. I got one more game in me. Let's see if we can do it. At the very least, like I said, I want to see what happens with Shudderwalk and Tendrils. Does anyone know? Like, if you ramp your Tendrils up to 10 mana, will Shudderwalk do a bunch of 10 mana Tendrils, or will it do 1 to 10 again? I genuinely don't know how it'll work. I think it might just do a bunch of 10s. I guess we'll see. Priest. All right. The pro here is this is probably a slower deck, so gives us more time to do stupid shit. Probably don't need the removal. Oh yeah, so the reason I asked about Magic as well is I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers on YouTube, and I was trying to think of some like fun things to do to celebrate. And why did I toss all the removal? God damn it. But anyways, one thing I was thinking was a series I have going on YouTube now is my weekly custom Hearthstone videos. And Trump, who previously did videos like that, he stopped in early 2023, I believe. So I was thinking of doing a longer custom Hearthstone video to basically show off the top cards since Trump stopped. So basically the top custom Hearthstone cards of the last year. I was thinking of maybe doing that as, you know, like a big 1,000 subscriber, video. And then for streaming, I was thinking about opening some Magic cards on stream. So for anyone familiar with Magic, the Modern Horizons 3 set just came out. The closest equivalent in Hearthstone is like Caverns of Time. It's basically a set in Magic that goes right to the older formats. And yeah, I was thinking about buying some packs and opening them on stream. We'll see how that goes. I think we're just dead here, though. What I'm going to do, I'm going to concede because I'm not going to win this game. Let's move on to the next one. I want one good game to finish off on. Emoticon had to dip. How'd that last game go? Didn't go great. I want to pop off with Tendrils once. And Julio, they cast all 10 mana. Oh, okay, cool. That's how I thought it'd work. So man, that's the dream to play Shudderwalk. Oh yeah, so emoticon. I don't know if you heard me about doing the, you know, like top custom Hearthstone cards of the last year or not, but maybe you'll have some more cards on there. I don't know how long you've been making them, but I think I might do that. Do it as like a longer video, kind of like basically catch up on the time from when Trump stopped until I started. I think that'd be a fun video. It'll just be a lot of work. There'll be a lot of cards and submissions to go through, and it'll be a bit of a longer video. You know, my current videos, like I keep under 10 minutes, so this would probably be a longer one. But we'll see. Like I said, that'll take a bit of work. But I'll probably hit 1,000 subs either probably next week, maybe, or the week after, sometime this month, which is cool. Elemental Mage. Let's do this. Oh, that's a nice hit. Sverna, can I add you to my friends list? What's your nickname and numbers? Out of curiosity, are you in the Discord? I just asked because I would rather not just post it publicly, but I have it posted in the Discord. If not, I can send you a private message. But yeah, I play games with viewers and stuff sometimes, so yeah, you guys can go ahead and add me. You should totally do some game against viewers too and hop on for that. Yeah, so I have in the past. I haven't in a few weeks now, but I've done some streams previously where I play with viewers. And actually, so you are right. That's another idea I had for like 1,000 subscriber special is I had some really fun ideas for games to play with viewers. So that's something else I'll end up doing for sure. But yeah, if you're in the Discord, I have my Battle.net ID posted there. If not, let me know. I could just DM it to you. I just don't want to post it out in the world if possible. All right, rip some Tendrils here and pray. So, Boulder, Tendril, Murmuring Elemental, Tendril? That's a lot, right? Actually, let's see what this is first. I'll still do that. All right, RNGesus, let's go. Okay, that's nice. Does nothing. Ramp, that helps. All right, we get 3 more triggers, I think. Sure. What, we Jade Shaman now? All right, we're not dead. He might trade here. I don't know how many spells this guy's running. It's fair. I don't have Discord. Okay, I'll send it to you in a private message then. Also, Emoticon showed up just in time to hear that. It's clever. I've been making cards for years. Okay, but I didn't start showing them off until too recently, so I doubt you'll catch me. All right. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at what your Reddit username was again and look into your submissions. Because I will say, whenever I do the research for those videos, I look at tons of submissions, right? I only highlight 5 or 6 cards, but I see tons of cards. And I'm curious if I've seen some of your other cards before. I'm just going to do this as a cycle. Yeah, that helps a little bit. I was really hoping for something with lifesteal. Oh, that's nice. Oh, that's also nice. Yep, ripping that at least. This won't be corrupted anytime soon. Let's do this. So... you go here, you go here. I maybe could have done those trades better, but I don't know. Tantan, should I add Renathal to Tony Questline Demon Hunter? Yeah, if you were to ask chat says always add Renathal. Renathal is chat's favorite card, so I say yes. All right, we actually managed to stabilize a bit, which is nice. Lost Bolner, but it's not that big of a deal. We are at 3 out of 6. I'm going to trade just in case I get some shitty results off it here, but let's see. It's not the worst. Actually, I'm going to do this now to complete the quest. Sure. And then hold these for next turn. Is this going to be the game? I want to play Shutterwalk. That's the main thing I want to do at this point. And just see Shutterwalk go crazy with 10 costs. What's he got in his hands? Two wind chills? How'd this go back to his hand? I was talking with you guys and I missed something here. Don't hit my face. Oh, no. Oh, what a hit, though. What are the odds he has 10 damage in hand? That's what I'm scared of. I think I have to rip the baking soda volcano. Just go face, baking soda volcano. I'm assuming his guy dies. Come on, okay. Actually wasn't that bad. And then Tendril. Oh, nasty. Oh, we're one off, guys. But Shutterwalk. Steppy seems pretty focused on keeping you low HP with no healing. Yeah, that's why I played the Baking Soda Volcano. I feel like he had possibly lethal in hand there. Especially just fireballing my face like that. Alright, GG. Oh, he went out with honor. Good for him. Well, I guess I didn't get to play Shutterwalk, but at least I got to pop off of it with Tendrils. But I do want to dedicate, at some point soon, a whole stream to Tendrils and Wild. You know, that was going to be the plan today, but the tier list unfortunately ended up taking 2 hours, which I did not expect. I thought it'd be like an hour max, but it was fun. Don't get me wrong. It was a really fun tier list. I will be editing it this weekend, hopefully, and uploading it next week. But a couple refreshers for this week. In terms of videos, tomorrow I'm uploading a video that it's a short one. It's a 2 or 3 minute video talking about the rarest cards in Hearthstone. Then Thursday, I'm releasing the top 5 best hero cards in the game. And then for streams, Wednesday might be Twist. You know, if they do some balance changes to Twist, I'll play Twist on Wednesday. If not, I'm not really sure what I'm going to do. And then my Thursday stream is moved to Friday because of some obligations I have. So Friday will be Galakron Warrior. So it will be the 5th and final Galakron stream. So it's fun. I like doing these series, you know, where I kind of progress through like a mechanic or a set of cards or things like that. So yeah. Basically, cool new video on Tuesday and Thursday, then streams on Wednesday and Friday. Emoticon, playing with Bran, that's instantly 1 through 8. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, so that'll be the goal. Like I said, I'm going to do another stream with Tendrils in Wild because I didn't really get to do it too much today. I got an hour worth. But thanks for the amazing stream. It was good to listen to. Join the Discord and subscribe. Thanks. Yeah, thanks for the support. It was a lot of fun. You guys were very chatty during the tier list thing. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, like I said, thanks for all the support, everyone. Thanks for watching. Check out the new videos. I upload a video typically every day on YouTube, but I have some special ones going up on Tuesday and Thursday. And then, like I said, streams on Wednesday and Friday. So thanks for watching. Hopefully see you guys on Wednesday or Friday, and hope you have a great night. Take care.